Good morning, 5 o'clock now. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Our forecast today, it'll be a mix of clouds and sun, and a stray shower or thunderstorm is possible again later this afternoon. Our high today around 94 degrees, and Stefano says we'll have a heat index of around 105. In the news, in primary news, it was a setback for Democrats' progressive wing. Thanksgiving-hating candidate for Wisconsin Governor Francesca Wan narrowly lost her primary to the moderate Democrat David Crowley. He'll face House Speaker Lisa DeMuth, who beat Mike Lindell. He had the endorsement of President Trump. Well, this pro-Somali woman just won the Democrat primary for U.S. Senate in Minnesota.
Assalamu alaikum. My name's Peggy Flanagan. I am the Lieutenant Governor of Minnesota, and I'm really honored and humbled to be here with all of you today.
She won. And also on the Republican side of Minnesota, former NFL sideline reporter Michelle Tafoya, she easily won her primary for Senate. Darlene Graham is going to face Congressman Ralph Norman in a runoff in South Carolina. In the primary for her brother's seat, Trump endorsed Darlene Graham as well. And over to Connecticut, where 14-term Democrat John Larson was primaried by former Hartford Mayor Luke Bronin, who called for generational change. State-level discussions are currently underway about intervening in local property tax increases, especially in Nashville. Senate Majority Leader Jack Johnson speaking with Matt Murphy yesterday.
But I hope that Mayor O'Connell and members of the Metro Council are hearing these business owners, and because to see these music venues shut down, there's no place in the world like what we have on Broadway. And whether you're a music fan or not, I'm from Central Texas near Austin. They call themselves the live music capital of the world. They're not. Nashville is.
Now, both Johnson and House Leader Cameron Sexton have urged Governor Bill Lee to call a special session to consider remedies to the skyrocketing tax issue. Market numbers brought to you by Beacon Capital Management, online at beaconcm.com.
Stocks took a tumble on more uncertainty over Iran and rising oil prices. The Dow lost 184 points. The S&P fell 25. The Nasdaq gave up 159 points. The price for a barrel of Brent crude briefly jumped over $90 before settling at 88.91. Vietnamese aerospace company VinSpace has signed a contract with SpaceX to launch its first satellites in 2027. Toyota is recalling 2025 and 2026 Camry vehicles because the 7-inch display screen could fail when starting the car, knocking out power to things like the seatbelt reminder and hazard lights. Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
And stock futures all pointing up with the Dow futures plus 63 right now. That's the latest news. Traffic's next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Matt Murphy with Super Talk 99.7 WTN, and this morning we are out and about at my house, my brand new house that I've been talking about on the radio, with Nate from USS. What's up, brother? How are you?
I'm excellent. How about you?
I'm doing well.
Good.
We invited Nate out. Now, obviously, when you're a new homeowner, especially when you buy a house that's got a few years on it, you don't know what you're dealing with in terms of foundation. And I know that Nate knows a lot more about what I don't see and what I don't know about than I do. So bring the experts out and get them to check out your house. Hey guys, Matt Murphy again with Nate with USS, and Nate has just wrapped up kind of a look at the house. And Nate, what'd you find?
Well, your house is in pretty good shape for the age of it. I had to look pretty hard to find.
Okay.
Your house being on a slope like it is here, I think we could do a lot of good by trying to terminate your downspouts a little
Okay.
further from the house there.
Okay.
Roof water is the killer of foundations, and so if we can just get it to a positive grade to drain away from your house, I think that's real cheap insurance.
You want to kind of get it out and downhill.
That's right. Yeah.
That's
So
the idea.
make sure that it doesn't come right back down towards the foundation walls, causing issues, settlement, or leakage.
Now, if folks are watching this video and they are like, we need to get Nate out to the house to do a look. I mean, it took, I watched you do it. It's, like 30, 45 minutes, something like that.
Yeah.
To do a comprehensive kind of an examination around the house. and they just give you a call and schedule?
Yeah, absolutely. You can call our main phone number, or you can call reach USSTN.com and schedule right through the website there. Our girls in the call center will get back to you just about immediately, as long as it's during business hours. So
this just makes a lot of sense, folks, for you guys to do an examination of your house like we've done, to check it out. I'm going to get those gutters done.
Looks like everything is running smoothly on the major roads heading into Nashville this morning. Got a heads up for folks in Murfreesboro. Looks like there's some police activity happening on MLK Jr. Boulevard around a taped-off house. Keep in mind that may slow you down a bit this morning as you make your way in. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.506 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning to your friends. Hope you are doing well. And welcome on into a Wednesday, August 12th. It's Nashville's morning news. Hot today, right, Joan? Mix of clouds and sun, possible storms, high of 94. Going to feel like 105. I feel so sorry for people who have to work outside in this stuff. It's like, you know what I want to do? I want to drive around, and then I'll get to content. But I want to drive around Mount Juliet, where I live, and just when I see people working outside, I just want to, drive up and bizarrely and randomly give them some water.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
I mean, obviously they have their own water, but man alive. So
my husband used to be a UPS driver in Center City, Philadelphia, and people would always come up and give him water. And he said, I wouldn't care if it's warm water. I'd take everybody's water.
So that doesn't get annoying because by the end of the day, you have like 15 bottles of water and they're like, well, don't people know that we have our own water?
Yeah, but it's the kindness.
The Philadelphia is known as, of course, the city of brotherly love.
That's right.
And random drive-by shootings.
Yeah.
So there is that. What were you saying, Sam, real quick?
I was going to say, my time at Amazon, it did get annoying. It did, because it oftentimes wasn't water. I love the sweet people out here in Middle Tennessee, but,
what would they give?
Like extra sweet Milo sweet tea.
Yeah. Sweet tea makes my lips pucker, not in a good way. Anyway, 507, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk. Okay, so Donald Trump talking about the big switch, of course, last night. The media, it's interesting, Joan, the more that the media finds out about this whole plane switch is Donald Trump and the Secret Service trying to avoid him getting taken out by Iran. And by the way, we're finding out more about the specifics of that plot to take out the president. We'll get into that. But the media has been all over this, and they seem to be getting angrier and angrier. And so last night on the tarmac, President Trump spoke about the switch.
Can you tell us about your ride on the airport catering truck in Turkey? Why did you need to do that?
Well, it's only up to Secret Service. I just follow what they'd like to do. So I go by Secret Service and the military. They wanted me to go on a different flight, a different plane, equal safety, but they wanted me to do it, so I do it. I do what they say.
Why did they want you to do that?
I guess there was a threat out there. I didn't really ask too much about it. I get a lot of threats.
It is interesting because it's almost like, why are you asking such a dumb question? He was in Turkey, and there was a threat, and so they had me get into a catering truck and then change planes. Now, the media, of course, as you know, really upset about this because they feel like the president, obviously, which he did, he and the Secret Service, left them in a plane that they felt was going to be targeted. I understand they're upset, but again, as I said yesterday, well, you knew the gig was dangerous when you took it, especially with Donald Trump being the president. By the way, do you know whose opinion I'm really looking forward to getting this morning? Is one Brian Wilson, who is back. He'll be joining us Wednesdays with Wilson at 7 o'clock. He's been on Air Force One. And so he's been on Air Force One with the president more than a few times. And so I'm looking forward to hearing his perspective. If he was on Air Force One and the president basically ditched that plane and went into another plane, like a decoy plane kind of a situation. How mad or would you be mad? And so that's going to be an interesting conversation. That discussion is coming up at 7:05 here on Super Talk 99.7. Now, we are finding out more about that specific threat. The president, of course, as you just heard, didn't want to talk about it, and I don't blame him. But it turns out the New York Times has found out a lot more about what happened, and we're going to get into that coming up. But the media, screaming about this, and honest to goodness, I don't understand why it is that they're so angry. Because for the media, number one, they're like, okay, so why didn't you tell us what was going on? Why didn't you tell us what the threat was or that there was a threat? Do you know why the president doesn't trust the media? Because the media isn't trustable. I mean, this isn't the old days where you had to, bang out a story for the, morning paper. No, instantaneously, you could have a reporter from MSNBC or CNN or wherever, and the president says, well, I've got to change planes because there's a threat, a credible threat. Well, then they're going to get on Twitter and they're going to send it out immediately. That's why they weren't told. And obviously, if they said to the media, the White House press corps following the president, if they told them, well, okay, there is a threat, so we're not going to take off, well, then obviously that tips off the bad guys. Then they're going to go looking for Donald Trump in the other plane. They're going to look at the whole situation and say, oh, look, a catering truck. Where did that catering truck go? So I understand why they're upset. I do. But, the level of angst, I don't know. It seems like they're not seeing the bigger, broader picture because, shocking, the media is making it all about them. They would rather see this president's plane taken down with them on it than be kept in the dark. That's what it seems to me. And here's the other thing. The president nor the Secret Service trust them because the president has been plagued by leaks for a long time. And of course, we all know how culpable they were, the media, with the whole Russian collusion narrative. So why would anybody possibly trust the media? The Secret Service, they don't trust that they won't, again, get on their socials and start posting on X that the president switched planes. So now we are, indeed, finding out more about what happened in Turkey as the New York Times reports on that very specific threat. This is CNN and Caitlin Collins.
They say on the assassination threat that prompted the president to go onto a catering truck to a secret plane, two U.S. officials are telling the New York Times, Eric Schmidt and Maggie Haberman, that, quote, U.S. intelligence knew that there was a specific threat of a surface-to-air missile against Air Force One, meaning whichever plane was carrying the president, and that someone in the vicinity of the NATO summit had been spotted with a shoulder-fired missile, and that, quote, the Iranians knew specifically where Mr. Trump was staying in Ankara, including which floor of the building. They're arguing the threat was serious enough to put the president on a secret plane during his flight back from Turkey, and which kept several members of his staff, members of the Secret Service, and the traveling White House press corps on what effectively became a decoy plane without their knowledge, of course.
So that is, again, Caitlin Collins. She was on that plane, as a matter of fact. Part of my question would be this. Is there any responsibility of the administration and the Secret Service to tell them? And that'll be my question to Brian Wilson. But is there a moral responsibility for the administration and the Secret Service to tell those folks on the plane, those reporters on the plane who, again, knew the job when they took it? Is there any responsibility to tell them that the plane is threatened or that Donald Trump has been threatened? A lot of people would say yes, and I'll be honest with you, I'm going to say no. I loved this moment on CNN, though. And by the way, remember, the Secret Service's job is to protect one person, the President of the United States, not anyone else, at least in this situation. But I did love this moment on CNN where former Senator Claire McCaskill was on, and of course, again, the media obsessing over this whole thing. And Claire McCaskill basically says, come on, folks, chill out. They were protecting the president, like it or not. This is Claire McCaskill.
If they had disclosed this after the fact, then I think everyone would be a little more comfortable with it. The fact that we're finding out from deep-sourced folks that this has happened is probably not great. But they were trying, I think there's probably was a credible threat. And I don't think anybody would argue that Iran would we took out their entire senior leadership of their country. And they are extremists. And Trump is their number one enemy. So I understand why they would go to extraordinary lengths to try to protect him if it really was a credible threat. If we had a Democratic president in the same position, I think all of us would say, well, I'm glad they figured out a way to protect the president better. Just because it's Donald Trump and we think he's a horrible president, we should keep in mind that the president's protection is important for our country. And it would be a terrible thing for any president to be assassinated, especially by a foreign government.
Yeah, I think everyone would agree with you on that.
So the anchor, obviously, of CNN is like, oh, crap. We've got a free thinker on the panel. We can't have that. Claire McCaskill, I agree with her on a couple of things. Yes, there is the responsibility to protect the president. That's number one. I disagree with her, though. I don't believe that they are under any obligation to tell the media anything at any time. Because now realize, and we talked about this yesterday, realize that with the Washington Post reporting on this story about how they put the president on Air Force One, then he got on the catering truck, then he ultimately ended up on another military plane. Well, now what they've done is they've essentially reported on the protocol that they do when the president is in a foreign country, particularly in the Middle East, and there is a threat. That is what the Washington Post has done. So, bad on them, but of course they're going to do what they're going to do, and the media is going to continue to hyperventilate over this whole story. So we'll keep you updated on that. By the way, you want to take the Daily Dan poll. Today's Daily Dan poll: should there be a special session to defeat rising property taxes in Nashville? Joan was reporting that we've got Cameron Sexton, we've got Jack Johnson waiting for the governor perhaps to call a special session to save not only the bars, because remember, it's not only about the bars in Nashville, but it is also about homeowners and businesses as well outside of the bars and the restaurants. And so the Daily Dan poll, watch us on YouTube. Should there be a special session to defeat rising property taxes in Nashville? Watch the radio show on YouTube, X, 997WTN.com, Facebook, and Rumble. You can also stream us anywhere from an audio perspective, anywhere you get your podcasts, anywhere you get your audio. We are there. It is 5:18 on Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Super text line is open, 615-737-9986. Joan has the traffic here on WTN.
I do have the traffic, and it looks like everything is running well this morning on the major roadways heading in to Nashville. And just a reminder once again that there's something happening, some police activity in Murfreesboro on MLK Jr. Boulevard. Not really sure what section of that, but thanks to the super texter 7732 for that tip. And looks like that may slow you down a bit if you're coming in from Murfreesboro. Traffic every 10 minutes, every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Joan. As far as your weather goes, hot day today, mix of clouds and sun, possible storms, a high of 94. Going to feel like 105. Joan, you're talking about the super texter who alerted us to that problem. Was it last week that, was it 24 or 65 that was completely shut down with that fire?
Oh, 65, yeah.
We were on top of that like nobody else was.
Yep.
Because of the super texters.
Yes.
I'm going to say this, that this is the first time, and I do a lot of fill-in all across the country, as everybody knows, but not a lot of radio stations have a text line like we do, and it really, really does make a difference. I mean, whether we're talking about instant reaction to monologues or instant reaction to what is going on maybe out on the roadways to when we have breaking weather, this text line makes a huge difference. And so if you have not used the text line before, go ahead and make today your first time that you've texted. We like to call you a first-time texter, 615-737-9986. Unfortunately, we get so many here on the morning show. I read all of them. I don't respond to all of them, simply put, because I can't, because there's just so many. Now, coming up, Hassan Spiker or Hassan Piker unleashed. I called him Spiker, didn't I?
Yeah, you did.
That's okay.
It's all right.
You know what? I could call him a lot worse, and I will. Coming up next, Hassan Piker unleashed. Wait till you hear what has been unearthed on social media. Ted Cruz posted this audio. The question is, why in the world would any black person ever vote for a Democrat after hearing this audio and seeing this video? That is straight ahead on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Joan has the news coming up at 5:30. Joan.
Yeah, heartbreaking story out of Cheatham County where a boy who had gone missing has been found dead. We've got the details coming up at 5:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
525 Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. So Sam and I were talking off the air during the break about Hassan Piker, and Rolling Stone did a big puff piece on Hassan Piker. What they're trying to do is they're trying to humanize Hassan Piker because he has done a really good job of dehumanizing himself, and I'm going to explain why. But one of the big quotes from Rolling Stone is something along the lines of, why is everyone so afraid of Hassan Piker? Now, if you don't know who Hassan Piker is, he is a social media star. He's on Twitch, and he's out there campaigning with Democrats. And this guy is as vile as the day is long. And I'm going to tell you that for me, I'm not afraid of Hassan Piker. I know that Joan is not afraid of Hassan Piker. As a matter of fact, I embrace Hassan Piker as really the embodiment of the left and where they are today. So there's no one on the right. I promise you this, my friends. There's nobody on the right who is afraid of Hassan Piker. We embrace him as what the Democrats stand for, or the DSA commies stand for. Ted Cruz put out this video, and the question was asked, why would any black person ever vote for a Democrat with this guy in their camp?
I don't give a what black people care about. Oh, black people care about this, black people care about that. Like, shut the up. That's not how politics works. Oh, well, Hassan, how dare you? Like it or not, black people care about this issue. It's like, it's such a stupid stance. Any other black folk want to engage in radical activist language in this chat? Suck my Yes, dude. It's because I'm racist. That's why. It's because I'm racist, dude. Go back to a better time when lynchings were happening. This is what I like as a black man. Are you always doing too much with black people? Leave them alone. I want to go back to lynching. Like, I get it, but relax. Man, shut the up, okay? Okay, you got me, because I'm a racist person.
I mean, listen, I don't know what context any of that was in, because it could have been taken out of I'm fully understanding that could have been taken out of context, some of it, but wow. You know, Joan, if this whole radio thing doesn't work out after 40 plus years for yours truly,
yeah,
maybe I'll just go full vile, no class a-hole and do like stuff that Hassan Piker does, but do it from a conservative perspective.
Oh, I like it.
Maybe that's what I need to do.
Yeah.
By the way, number one, he's wrong. This is exactly how politics works when he talks about, you know, what black people think. Politicians have to care about what black folks think. That's why the media hyper-focuses on various demographics, right? You've got gender, race, college-educated, non-college educated, married, single, suburbs. I mean, that is how politics works. So, number one, dude has no flipping clue what he's talking about. That's number one. And number two, yeah, he's incredibly vile. And the Democrats have campaigned with this guy many, many, many times. Then there is this oldie but goodie. This is Hassan Piker. For you folks watching on YouTube and the various video platforms, you will see that it's a weird angle. It's like way close up. This is actually how he used to do his live streams, is really awkwardly close up. Maybe he was trying to be somewhat anonymous. But this is Hassan Piker on immigration. Listen to this.
We're going to keep bringing in immigrants in this country on purpose, just so they can f*** your sister, and then maybe even your daughter. We're going to destroy the white race. That's what we're here to do.
That's Hassan Piker. Yep. And I fully embrace it. Again, memo to Rolling Stone. I'm not afraid of Hassan Piker. I actually, as I said, fully embrace him as the living embodiment of what the Democrats stand for today. They are campaigning with him. We're talking about Abdul El Sayed, Zoran Mamdani, Graham Plattner, Bernie Sanders, AOC, Rashida Tlaib, Ro Khanna, and others. So, yeah, I'm not afraid of him.
His explanation for this in the article is just laughable. I stream for 8 hours a day, 7 days a week. Privileged much? Living off of mom and dad's money? Piker says in a new interview with The Stone, I'm going to say some dumb stuff, but at the end of the day, we're talking about more than 10,000 hours of content, and they've got like 4 quotes they keep hammering on to be like, this guy's a dangerous radical. It's very silly. Believe who he is when he tells you.
Yeah, it's actually not silly at all. Hassan Piker is vile, and he is the embodiment of the Democrats today. So as Sam said, when they tell you as a group who they are, by who they affiliate with, you've got to pay attention. It is 5:30 on Nashville's Morning News, Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories and our forecast calling for clouds and sunshine today. We may have a stray shower or thunderstorm this afternoon and our high around 94 degrees with a heat index of 105. The temperatures are supposed to pick up through the weekend and near 100 degrees on a Saturday and Sunday. We begin with a sad story in Cheatham County where a 3-year-old boy who had gone missing was found dead inside a hot car. It was an abandoned van sitting on his family's property. Here's Channel 4's Braden Ross.
The sheriff's office says an adult family member who was caring for the boy told them they had laid down for a nap around 1 in the afternoon. When they woke up, they couldn't find the toddler. Before sheriff's deputies could make it to the home, they say that boy's minor sibling found him inside a van parked on the family's property.
It doesn't run, but it just sits on the property. But somehow the child got into the van, was able to shut the door behind him. We don't think the child was able to get the door open once they got inside.
The boy was unresponsive, and despite efforts to revive him, he died.
Detectives are still investigating how the boy got into the car. Tennessee Governor Bill Lee declining to stop tomorrow's scheduled execution of death row inmate Darrell Hines. Hines was convicted of first-degree murder in the 1986 stabbing death of a motel maid, Catherine Jenkins, in Kingston Springs. His lawyer is claiming that Hines could suffer cruel and unusual punishment if the state uses the same physician who botched another execution in May. The state is not saying who will provide the lethal mix of drugs in Hines's execution, which again takes place tomorrow. A top Democrat is calling for the Senate to be briefed on the Iranian threats against President Trump that reportedly required him to covertly switch planes using a catering truck to depart Turkey last month. In a statement late Tuesday, Minority Leader Chuck Schumer said, quote, the Senate should be immediately briefed. But for others, like retired Secret Service agent Don Mihalik, it's not so unusual.
This type of a protective move is usually done with the utmost secrecy. Very few people actually know what happens, and it really goes to the secret in the Secret Service.
Now, the White House is saying only that there are many enemies. They'll use every tool at their disposal to address those threats. That's the latest news. Stick around. Traffic and weather is next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Times are tough. Absolutely, I agree. Now, if you need a new truck or a minivan, maybe an SUV, Mid-10 Ford, they can help you out with great selection, terrific pricing as well. Mid-10 Ford, they've been around for 56 years, since 1969, helping people get the vehicle that is right for them. They can help you save $1,000 or more on select Ford trucks. They also offer special financing as well if you need it. Now, Mid-10 Ford, I like to say that they're a one-stop shop. You can buy your vehicle there at Mid-10 Ford. You can get it serviced. They have a body shop as well. So you want a brand new or a pre-owned vehicle, you can check out all of the great deals at their website, mid10fordtrucks.com. That's mid10fordtrucks.com. They offer low-pressure sales, maximum customer service if you show up at their business, 1319 Foster Avenue. This is a family-owned business going back 4 generations. So, yeah, they do know how to treat customers. So let them help you get into your next vehicle. Again, low-pressure sales, maximum customer service. Find them online, mid10fordtrucks.com. That's mid10fordtrucks.com. Let their family take care of your family.
The major's still looking really good, although I am seeing some delays on 24, the westbound side through Laverne. But otherwise, the major roads look okay. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.538, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning to your friends. Did we do weather in that? I don't think we did. Anyway, mix of clouds and sun, storms, high of 94, going to feel like 105. When is it going to be over, Joan? I want to wear my sweaters.
I know, me too.
I want to just, wear layers again. I miss that.
So I think let's see, what is this? August 12th.
We are August 12th. We've got at least another month of really hot weather.
Yeah.
So, which is fine.
Well, I just feel like this summer and the spring and into the summer has it been as hot as it normally is? It didn't feel like it. Maybe it's because it rained all the time. I don't know.
It's interesting you say that, Joan, because Amy and I were talking about how we haven't really used the pool as much as we usually do, and it's because of a couple of things. But number one is the way the rain has fallen over weekends and how it's been cooler on some weekends and travel schedule and all of that as well. Anyway, nobody cares. Real quick, talk about the Daily Dan poll. The Daily Dan poll was, because I'm thinking I want to change it just very quickly. We had the Daily Dan poll up there. Should there be a special session to defeat rising property taxes in Nashville? I did the interview with Barrett Hobbs the other day, the leader of that coalition. He has put together a whole bunch of bar owners and business owners getting together all of the state lawmakers and trying to get that special session going. I'm assuming that most people said yes.
94%. I'm very curious about the 6% that said no.
They like to be contrarian. Joan, we have those people in the audience. They like to be contrarian.
Of course.
Just to be spiteful. That's exactly right. Or they like high taxes, which, there's people that are like that. We call them socialists. All right. So real quick, I want to do a different Daily Dan poll then. And I think this one will be more nuanced. I think this one will be a little bit more mixed. In the first segment, I talked about the outcry over, or the outrage over Donald Trump switching planes, leaving the White House press corps on a plane that they feel was going to be targeted by Iran, right? So that's why they're all freaking out. So maybe the Daily Dan poll new question should be, I want to frame it a little differently. I want to take politics out of it. Would you be angry? Figure out how to do this, Sam. Would you be angry if you were a reporter that was left on a targeted plane like Donald Trump? Like, figure out a way to say that, Sam. I'm with Donald Trump on this, but I want to personalize it. If I was a member of the White House press corps and I was left on a targeted plane while the president took a different plane, would I be angry or upset about it? I would not, because I'm not a 12-year-old child. I know the risks, and I knew the risks when I took it. So I want that to be the new Daily Dan poll. Cool? Cool. All right, it is 5:41 on Super Talk 99.7. WTN, it is time for...
Jones World, party time. Excellent.
I love this first story. I am such a big fan, Joan, of Marco Rubio. And you know what? This is the first time that I've ever seen his wife.
I don't think I've ever seen his wife either. So, yeah, she's very pretty.
Good for Marco.
Very pretty. Mm-hmm. So he is, this is an interview with Katie Miller. She's Stephen Miller's wife. She asked him about, whether or not he sticks to this diet, because RFK Jr. does only meat and certain vegetables. What are they called? Like sauerkraut. That's all he eats.
Sauerkraut?
Yes.
Fermented cabbage.
Fermented cabbage. Fermented vegetables. That's all he'll eat.
Okay.
It's probiotic. It's very good for you.
It's probiotic. And so she asked him, hey, do you stick to this diet too? Go ahead.
Did RFK's diet of red meat and fermented vegetables? No, this is a crazy diet. This is a diet that consists of eating sauerkraut and meat. Now, you understand, this is not a sustainable thing. Like, you can't just walk into it.
Well, he sustains it because he does it.
Can you imagine? He has to travel with coolers of sauerkraut. I'm not going to travel the world with a cooler full of sauerkraut. It's ridiculous. I can't do it. It's not sustainable.
Are you Maha?
I'm in favor of Maha. Like, I think people should be healthy.
No, he is not.
But I think ultimately, at the end,
he is completely not.
What's he eat?
Pop-Tarts.
No, I don't eat Pop-Tarts every day.
Okay, you eat sweets.
The Pop-Tart is one of the great American innovations in history of the world. If you think about it, it comes in this beautiful foil package.
All the things you should not be eating. Every single thing.
I love that. You know what? That humanizes Marco Rubio.
It does. So then down
and he's right, by the way, about Pop-Tarts.
The great American
invention.
Yeah.
They started screwing it up when they had all of these different flavors of Pop-Tarts. But, you guys weren't here. Maybe I'll bring it up. You know what? I got to play this audio bite, this video for Brian Wilson. Do you know when I first hired Brian? He almost walked out. Like in the first month of the radio broadcast with Brian Wilson, he almost walked out because the vending machine couldn't handle his need for Pop-Tarts. Oh. And so he was really angry that we kept running out of Pop-Tarts. It's like, dude, you're not supposed to eat like 2 Pop-Tarts every day.
Yeah. So down in the comments, after this is played, somebody put, the meme of Marco Rubio sitting on the couch.
Yes.
Made him a Pop-Tart.
That is so
really
funny.
Yeah. And then somebody else posted one that said, let's compromise. And it's sauerkraut flavored Pop-Tarts.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yuck.
Do you know, I don't know if I've ever had sauerkraut.
What?
Do you get your bratwurst plain at the ballpark?
I don't get, no, I don't eat any of that stuff. That's just gross.
No, it's cabbage.
I don't care. It's gross.
It cleans the microplastics from your blood.
So good for you.
No, for me, for me, honestly, that does sound especially gross, and I don't like to eat that stuff. Now, I'm all for meat. Mm-hmm. You want to talk about a lot of meat? I'm right there. Pork chops, steak. More of a fish guy. What's that?
It helps with digestion.
Sauerkraut?
Yeah.
Okay. So does lettuce.
But
unless it's got that.
It's fermented, so
it's fermented
whatever stuff.
That's the.
All right. So for people that don't exactly know what fermented is, and just for the record, I do, but don't ask me. So for the people that might not know exactly what fermented is, what is it? Because I know there's people that are like, all right, Joan, all right, Sam, what is fermented?
Well, it's a food transformed by beneficial bacteria that break down natural sugars into lactic acid. This traditional preservation method creates a tangy flavor and produces live probiotics that support gut health, digestion, and immune function.
I'd rather have a Pop-Tart.
I know people that make it at home. They grow their own cabbage, then they make the fermented. They ferment it and then they jar it. Yeah.
You know what? I like RFK Jr. I'm a little weirded out by a guy that likes to work out in blue jeans.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense. It's like, dude, get some sweatpants. Or whatever those other things are that people wear.
The man is ripped.
I know he's ripped. He's on steroids,
you know
obviously.
The guy that's on the, what do they call that? Of You that Sam makes. What do they call that?
Thumbnail?
The thumbnail. You know the thumbnail person of You?
Yeah.
That's what
RFK
Jr. is in person.
If you haven't seen the thumbnails that Sam is making, the producers are all like in a contest, a battle to see who can have the best thumbnails. And so Sam has decided that I need to look more like RFK Jr. Sadly, the thumbnail version of me is a lot better looking than actual me. So for that, Sam, I actually thank you.
People in the super text line are asking if you've ever had a Reuben sandwich.
Yeah.
No. I don't know what a Reuben. Yeah, no.
Kielbasa and sauerkraut?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope. And you know what's so funny about those queries?
Sauerkraut during a live broadcast, aren't I?
You know what? If you would have Joan, bring in some I don't trust Sam. Joan, bring in some sauerkraut.
Okay.
If Joan makes some sauerkraut, I will
have bags of it. I stay stocked on my sauerkraut.
Then give it to Joan and have her prepare it, and I'll eat it. It is 5:46. Next.
Okay, so this was on Matt Murphy's X account. I love this. Some people have watchdogs. These people have a watch donkey. Check this out.
So what it is for people listening on the radio.
There is audio, but it's difficult to.
You have a guy that he pulls up. He's delivering a package, and there's this little donkey that is about the size of a big dog. He walks up, and he's just really checking out the delivery guy. And he's just clearly You know what this is? This is like Bandit when he thinks that I have cheese.
Yeah.
This is what it is.
The best part is
It's
when
so cute.
it's
And he's
adorable.
wearing a sweater.
He's wearing a sweater. The guy drops the package at the door. Now he's got to take a picture of the package.
Yes.
Because that's what the delivery drivers have to do. And he tells the donkeys, like, hey, buddy, can you move over? So then at the end of this video is the picture of the donkey standing in front of the package. It's so cute.
What was the name of the donkey in that ogre movie? Help me.
Oh, man. You mean Donkey?
Yeah.
Yeah, his name was Donkey.
His name was Donkey. Okay. Yeah. What was the name of that movie?
Shrek. Mike Myers. Chris Rock.
It was Eddie. Wasn't Eddie Murphy the voice of the
Eddie
of the
Murphy and Mike
donkey?
Myers.
So yeah, I actually loved that movie.
I
And,
love
Matt, and
this
by the way, how
donkey.
long did you guys want to do a bet? How quickly before Matt Murphy ends up getting a donkey on that
Well, he
big
asked
old
for
property?
it. Yeah, he said something on his X account like, he's got to find one of these for his house.
Yeah, because he doesn't have enough to deal with those two dogs.
Yeah, he's got two already.
It's Munson and
I don't know.
But I was over at his house a couple of weeks ago. His dogs are amazing. His wife is great too. He is awesome too, but love his dogs. So they're all great. Anyway, moving on.
All right. So the next one is the headline of the day. It's from the Daily Mail. It's an unreasonable, ridiculous headline. It says, it's from Daily Mail Science.
Mm-hmm.
And the headline says, some children find spending time in nature distressing because it can trigger feelings of anxiety and despair linked to climate change.
Oh, stop it.
Honestly. And it has a picture of a little boy sitting on the ground in the woods and he's crying. This is the most ridiculous thing I have ever seen. And I love Daily Mail. I'm there every day.
Yeah.
But this is stupid.
It's a very real thing. And it's not just children. There are young adults in college. My sister had a roommate, and she would not go on camping trips and do stuff with them because she had climate change anxiety.
But what does that even mean?
That means that she's so worried about the future that she can't focus on the right now.
Okay, so here's what I would say about that. I understand that there are some delusional and really dumb teenagers, 20-something, whatever. This is kids.
Because their parents are impressing it on them.
Well, yeah, it's their parents who are saying, listen, we've got to go to the park now before climate change ends up melting the park into molten lava.
Yeah, so
right.
why not-
That's what they're telling their kids.
Even if there's only 6 months left of the world, would you not go out and enjoy it
Of
while
course
it's still
you
here?
would. It's like, what are you going to do? So the world's going to end in like 6 months, so we're going to hide under our bed. No, go out and hang out at a park.
And having these headlines and having people write these stories just exacerbates the stupidity of this report, this notion that we're dying because of climate change. It's so dumb. It's so dumb.
Wait, we're not dying of climate change?
We're not. We're not, Dan.
Are you sure?
I think we're dying.
Because, Joan, I've been reading headlines for like 50 years.
Yes.
That said that we were all going to die from either, really hot or really cold.
Did you know that 100% of the people that drink a glass of water will die?
Did you also know that 93% of statistics are made up?
I'm like, wait a minute. What did Joan just do?
Yeah.
So I got it, Joan. I got it.
We're all going to die, people.
And you're right. I believe that it is really silly. And it's one of those things where this is something to the left. Have they moved away from climate change, though? I feel like they've kind of moved away from it.
I haven't heard it as much. I did hear it this past week. They were, it's been so hot. It's been the hottest month on record, which we got, that was all of the July. Every forecaster said, July was the hottest month on record. Every July, it's the hottest July on record.
Oh, I know.
Every single July. It's summer.
It is really silly. All right, next. We got the gas station.
The gas station. So the customers at this particular gas station got a 20% discount if they would just get down right there in front of the counter.
And dance. This is funny. Want a discount? Show us your best dance moves.
That's the cashier hung that up on the front of the cash register.
So now, if you ever
actually dancing,
if you ever wanted video that proves that white people can't dance,
this is it.
It's this. Do you know what?
Fun.
Sam, would you dance for a raise?
How? In what manner?
I'm just asking because these people are.
I need about 6 to 8 weeks to get in Magic Mike shape to do that.
You know what? Your dance routine could be part of you getting in shape.
My go-to song is "Pour Some Sugar on Me" by Def Leppard.
Okay, so behind the scenes, Sam, just so everybody knows, Sam has been obsessing over. Can I do this on the air, Sam? You yes or no?
Go for it.
So Sam has been obsessing over his weight. And so every time I see, like literally, it's a daily thing, Sam, where you're talking about your weight and how you're going to lose weight. So, but you claim that you're going to be able to do this in 6 to 8 weeks. How do you plan to do that?
Greek yogurt, red meat, and lots of crunches.
Yeah, like lots of, what was it, sauerkraut? You can do lots of sauerkraut?
Yeah.
Okay, very good.
And some kimchi. I know that one probably scares you.
Is that your personal trainer? Kimchi, personal training?
Kimchi is mixed fermented vegetables.
It's is that what that is? Okay, very good.
Got a little spice to it, Dan. You probably wouldn't like it.
No, I'm not a big spicy eater kind of a guy. Can I tell you how it... Go ahead, Jim.
I just want to do that last one. I want to make sure we get it in.
Go ahead, quick.
So this is from Robbie Starbuck. He posted this, and with the caption that says, "Just want to share the highlight of my day so far. I was on my way home from errands with my wife when we saw this. It was a group of young men who had been working out, and then they prayed together to start their day." And he said, "This is what America needs. The kids are going to be all right." And it's a group of young men, so... maybe early 20s, maybe they're
late teens.
Like high teens, yeah. And they're just standing together, arms across each other, and they're all in prayer. And this is how they start their day. This makes me so happy. And thanks to Robbie Starbuck for posting that.
It does, and we love Robbie Starbuck around here. It gives you hope.
It does.
That all is not lost with the younger generation.
When you hear all the nonsense from the DSA and the Hassan Pikers, just remember that there's more of these guys than there are Hassan Pikers.
Now, Sam, you'll notice that a lot of these kids are in shape.
Yeah, they
with
run.
this photograph. So I'm going to tell you that one of the things that I did to lose a lot of weight, I ate a lot of fish. And I would eat salmon. I'd go get some fresh salmon and I'd cook it up. There'd be days where I would eat fish almost every single day, which isn't actually recommended because...
parasites.
Yeah, whatever. So...
mercury.
Just mercury, that's what it is, Joan.
Yeah.
But always make sure, as Johnny B. and Ken will attest to the day that I got sick on the air, always make sure that when you buy fresh fish, that you cook it that day. Don't let it sit in your refrigerator for like 2 or 3 days, which is what I did. Yeah.
Oh, Dan, that's not good.
Yeah,
I know.
You need to use it 2 days before the Best By date.
I
used to work in a Japanese restaurant and we had fish.
What I do is I will go and I will buy it and I will literally cook it within a couple of hours. Why? I think what happened is I got home, I went to Publix, I got the fish, I got home. Amy wanted to go for Mexican, so then it sat in my refrigerator for like a couple of days and I sniffed it and I thought, well, it smells like fish, so it must be good. Nope. 5:56. Joan's got the news coming up at 6. Joan.
Yeah. So will the no turn on red law make it through council votes? One council member is speaking out about that. We'll take a look at 6 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning, 6 o'clock. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. And a little Cheatham County boy who had been reported missing by his family was found trapped inside a hot, abandoned van on his family's property yesterday. He did not survive. Channel 4's Braden Ross.
Today, there's no telling what the heat index inside that vehicle was.
The sheriff's office says they don't know how long the boy was in the van. Lieutenant Shannon Heflin said detectives are still investigating exactly what happened and how the child got into the van. He added the Department of Children's Services and the district attorney's office will also be involved, but he hopes the tragedy can be a life-saving reminder for others.
The most important thing here today is to educate the general public that how hot it is out here today, and make sure you don't leave a child inside your vehicle, and because this can be the results. Very tragic.
Very tragic. A family member who was watching the boy said they had fallen asleep and lost track of him. At least one Metro Council member thinks that the no right on red ordinance won't get any traction. Here's Courtney Johnston with Matt Murphy yesterday.
So is that something that we need to look at? Maybe. And so maybe this bill starts that conversation, which I'm fine with, but I don't see that this bill in this form passing.
The current proposal calls for no right on red lights anywhere in Davidson County where the city picks up your trash. Market Numbers brought to you by Beacon Capital Management, online at beaconcm.com.
Stock futures were higher overnight ahead of a government report that's expected to show only a slight rise in monthly inflation. On Tuesday, the major averages posted losses, with the Dow and S&P each giving up 0.33%, the Nasdaq 0.6. Deadly Iranian-backed attacks on ships in the Red Sea and Gulf of Oman Tuesday raised concern about the reopening of the crucial Strait of Hormuz, sending oil prices higher. Brent crude overnight was again approaching $90 a barrel. Amid growing public skepticism, another community is tapping the brakes on automated license plate readers. A police officer in New Bedford, Massachusetts, is accused of using the Flock technology to track an ex-partner. Tourism in Spain has gotten a major boost this week as millions of tourists flock to the country to see the nation's first total solar eclipse since 1905. In the United States, the moon will throw just a little shade on Boston and New York this afternoon. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
And stock futures are up. The Dow futures right now, plus 38. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Thank you, Joe. And friends, if you're thinking of replacing your AC, check out your windows first. Drafty windows force your AC to work overtime. New windows from Window Nation. They're going to help your home stay comfortable, and they reduce the stress on your HVAC. And they can help you. The pros at Window Nation can help you get new energy-efficient windows at a great price. You could get 50% off all window styles. You could get zero down payment and no payments or interest for 2 years. Window Nation. I've got 4 Window Nation windows in my home, including 2 in my downstairs basement studio. They get an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau and yours truly. 96% customer satisfaction rating and over 45,000 5-star reviews. And it's because of deals like this. Again, 50% off all window styles, and you could get zero down payment and no payment or interest for 2 years. Great financing options from my friends at Window Nation. They're also a proud partner of the Wounded Warrior Project. Find them online. Tell them Dan Mandis told you to reach out. WindowNation.com. Schedule a fast, free consultation right now at WindowNation.com.
Okay, so we have no big deals this morning on most of the major roadways. If the roads are slowing down, this is just normal volume at this point. I'm not seeing any accidents on any of the biggies. Traffic every 10 minutes, every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.606 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning to your friends. Hope you are doing well and welcome on in. It is Wednesday, August 12th, and hope you're having a great morning so far. Primaries in Minnesota, governor's race, and other places around the country. I got to tell you, I don't know, were you shocked, Joan, that Francesca Hong lost the governor's race?
Yeah.
I was too. There was polling the last 5 polls that showed her leading by like 20 points.
Yes.
And she ultimately ended up losing.
And those polls that you're talking about were like yesterday's polls or maybe the day before. So it wasn't like a long time ago.
No, do you know what I wonder? Are those polls designed? Because I don't trust polling. Very few people that are listening do. But
are they designed to enable people?
Are they designed to gin up excitement, in this case for Francesca Hong, to get people to come out to vote, number one.
And suppress the vote.
Or, that's where I was going to.
Okay.
Suppress the vote.
Yeah.
So I think that is probably what's at play here. Because how do you have 5 polls, 5 different polls that show that she was winning by 20 plus points, only to have it razor thin? I mean, she was only in the governor's race there in Minnesota. She was Minnesota or Wisconsin. I think I'm confused.
For her?
Hong.
For Hong, she was Wisconsin.
Wisconsin, my bad. Wisconsin.
Yeah.
So both cold places. So, but it was only called in the last few hours. It was called overnight. It was really close, like razor thin. So she ultimately ended up, losing, and she is the DSA commie candidate. She was, and now she has officially lost. It was close, and people are trying to figure out, okay, so number one, what is going on with this polling? And number two, is this better or worse for the Republicans there in Wisconsin? Now, I think that it's worse for the Republicans because I believe that it would be easier for them to run against a DSA commie like Francesca Hong versus somebody, a Democrat who is more moderate. I mean, remember, she's the DSA communist from the state legislature who wanted to ban Thanksgiving and Halloween. There was another story that came out yesterday afternoon about how the guy who won the Democrat primary in Michigan, El Said, deleted a bunch of old videos from his socials. I don't know if you saw this, and apparently they were about the toxic masculinity of football, about how they needed to end the 4th of July fireworks, eliminating the Second Amendment. This is what Abdul El Said, this is what he believes. At least this is what he said in previous podcasts, saying that Americans didn't care about the wide open border, which obviously they do. So I want you to listen to this clip from Scott Jennings. It's really funny, and it is oh so true about some of these just moronic things that some of these people have said.
But when you're so crazy that Bernie Sanders and AOC won't even endorse you, you're pretty far out there. I think these holiday conversations are actually valuable. She hates Thanksgiving. Today, our own K-File here at CNN uncovered the fact that over in Michigan, Abdul El Sayed wants to get rid of the 4th of July. And I think the reason these
I think
things
he said we should get rid of fireworks.
He was very critical of the 4th of July. I think these are windows.
But I'm just saying getting rid of fireworks is different than getting rid of the 4th of July.
I think you're downplaying the message.
We don't have the quote here, so let's not adjudicate.
I think these are windows into the souls of these anti-American radical communists.
Scott, come on.
You hate Thanksgiving and you hate the 4th of July. What you're really saying is, I hate some of the pillars that undergird American culture. And how are you going to have a conversation with a voter about affordability or public safety or anything else if you're trying to get rid of Thanksgiving and the 4th of July. I mean, if I were Christmas and Easter, I wouldn't be feeling too comfortable right now.
Yes.
People win.
I love that. If I were Thanksgiving and Easter, I would feel very uncomfortable right now. I love what Scott Jennings said there, and it's true. So here's the thing. When you look at what they stand for, whether we're talking about policy, whether we're talking about, the toxic masculinity of football, it all just sounds very contrary to American culture. And the funny thing about all of this with El Said, he deleted these videos, and all of a sudden his campaign, I don't know if you saw this, his campaign says that he's all for the Second Amendment, even though he said that he wanted to abolish it. He suddenly watches football like every other Michigander. So the guy clearly has no real values. And that's one of the things that I've noticed about some of these Democrats is they have no real values, because Hong out there in Wisconsin, she said that she wanted to, ban Thanksgiving, and I think she said Halloween too. And then she said, no, I don't. No, I don't. It's like, well, how do you feel? Like, lady, what are your core values? Do you have any core values at all? Or do you just, lick your finger and stick it up in the wind and figure out which way the wind's blowing? Because that's what it seems to me. Or they realize that when you are in your little bubble of the DSA commies, where you're in your own little bubble and you talk about, oh yeah, we ought to ban Thanksgiving. We ought to ban the 4th of July fireworks, and we ought to ban Halloween and all these other things. Well, your closed circle will be all about that. But the reality is you sound like a wingnut. You do. You sound like a moron and an idiot. And so once you start running for higher office and some of these quotes that you've had in the past start making their way across social media, you realize that people that are not in your little DSA commie culture or circle, they're telling you that what you're saying doesn't make any sense. And so then you try to backtrack, and then you do have to ask the question, do you have any real values? You heard Scott Jennings talk about what El Said said about football. CNN found this clip. CNN finds this clip. It is funny. Listen close, and we'll talk about it on the other side.
Exactly, because this is from his podcast. There was a February 2023 episode of America Dissected podcast where El Sayed questioned whether there was any version of football that he said could be, quote, ethical or safe. And he linked the culture of the sport, which he did play growing up, to something much broader. He said narratives that had been historically used to justify slavery, westward expansion, and other forms of oppression. Listen to Amir.
You think about all the wars that we fight abroad, all of the sordid history of oppressing other people in the name of this American idea, right? Whether it was, quote, manifest destiny and destroying Native Americans, or it was the transatlantic slave trade, where, folks who, quote, founded this country on the backs of Native folks that they destroyed, then captured people, enslaved them, and had them work their fields because they thought it was their right? And all of this, like a lot of these narratives, you kind of see echoed in the ethos of football.
So he's, and it just feels like he got a little lost in all of that. Basically, what El Said is doing is he is once again, Colin Kaepernick called. He wants his, he wants his attitude back, his narrative back. But that's straight out of the playbook of Colin Kaepernick. Colin Kaepernick said the same thing, that football is just like slavery, because this is the stupidity of the left, because I guess the players are black, but the owners are white. But what they don't understand, obviously, and I don't have to explain this to you people because you're smart, because you listen to talk radio. Obviously, you have men that are in professional football who are making millions of dollars playing football, and they can walk away anytime. If I were a descendant of slaves or whatever, I would be insulted by that, because you're likening slavery, where they had no choice, and many people died in slavery, versus these football players who are making millions of dollars. It's not even close to the same thing.
Colin Kaepernick, career earnings in just 6 NFL seasons, $43,479,216.
Ah, the chains that he has on him, Colin Kaepernick. Oh boy. 6:15, time to check the roads on WTN. As far as your weather goes, looks like it's going to be a mix of clouds and sun, possible storms today. High of 94, going to feel like 105. Joan, I don't know if you're paying attention to the super text line.
Yeah.
But people are saying that you and I, we are engaged in leftist tomfoolery.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. You know
Why?
how? You know how?
How?
Because we use the feels like as well, which is 105, and people say that is some sort of a leftist way to promote climate change.
Yes, I've heard this before.
I don't really understand what that means, but if it's 94, but it's going to be really humid so that it's going to feel like 105, I don't believe in climate change at all. I think it's all a bunch of, hooey. Yes, but I also want to know if it's going to be a dry heat or, if you will, a humid heat. And so I want to know if it's going to be like 94, but it's going to feel like 105. I want to know that. And I think a lot of people do. Like as a woman, you need to know if it's going to be humid or not because the humidity impacts your hair, does it not?
It will make it go so flat.
That's exactly. Oh, you leftist, Joan.
Yeah.
I'm going to call you DSA Joan. Anyway, so look, we're going to give the feels like temperature. Like it, don't like it, whatever. But we're going to because when I don't, all the leftists that listen to WTN ask me, Dan, is it going to be humid or not? And so I'm going to continue to give it out.
You're just feeding their little desire to have their little leftist forecast.
That's it. Oh, you know what we need to do? We need to call it the leftist forecast on WTN.
Oh, I like it.
That's what we need to do, the leftist forecast. Oh, that is so funny. By the way, talking about the stupidity of Francesca Hong out there in Wisconsin, El Said in Michigan, and the dumb things that they have said, and I've just, gone through them. But then you've got James Tallarico, who brought the whole thing to the next level, right? I mean, here's a guy who has said things like God is non-binary and our southern border should be like our front porch, among many other things. We've talked about all of them. So basically, you have candidates that are simply put not relatable. Not relatable in the least. And these are not people that you would want to have a beer with.
Oh, and then they do the whole try-hard backtracking, right? That it just becomes very obvious to anyone with 3 brain cells. Tallarico's was he put on the Texas button-up shirt and he's eating a smoked turkey leg, and it could
after
not look
he said,
more dainty and wimpy.
After he said that it was going to be a meat-free campaign.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We're going vegan.
We're going vegan. The first ever campaign going vegan. You know what? If somebody says you're the first ever campaign going vegan, you might want to ask yourself why you're the first. Because it's dumb.
Well, exactly. And Brandon Gill rightfully called him out. Brandon, also congressman from Texas, was like, who eats the leg with that many napkins and where the hell's your beer?
It's just like Chuck Schumer. Remember?
The patties.
With the patties with the cheese on them. I mean,
raw. Someone said Gordon Ramsay over there to be like, it's raw.
Yeah, that's exactly right. But could they make themselves look any more unrelatable?
It's comical.
It is comical.
Straight out of like an SNL skit.
But you know what? My question would be this, and I'm interested in Sam and Joan's opinion on this. So do you truly believe that Chuck Schumer actually didn't know how to grill burgers?
Yes.
Okay, so Sam's a yes. Joan, do you think that he just truly did not know how to grill burgers?
I think
Chuck Schumer?
that's possible. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure his man
has. Yeah, I think he probably has people making his meals for him. How many meals do you think the guy eats at home?
How many pills does he have to take a day?
I mean,
he's 75.
He doesn't look like he's the healthiest human being.
Well, I think you're right. I think, Joan, you hit it right on the head. I don't believe that Chuck Schumer, being in Congress for how long that he has been in Congress, probably the money that he has, I'm pretty certain that it's been a long time since he cooked his own meal. I think he's probably going out to those fancy restaurants in Washington, D.C. I think that he is probably, charging the taxpayers, whatever, for the meal. I just don't think that he does a lot of cooking at home, if you will. And so, but I saw that. And the crazy thing is, nobody on his team noticed that he had raw hamburgers on the grill with cheese melted on them. Nobody noticed that.
Health hazard. Big time.
But Nancy Pelosi says all of this is okay. That's what she says.
So when you want to talk about differences that we have differences. It's a big tent. I've always said I'd rather not be in charge of a party that is lockstep this way. No, we have our diversity of opinion. We represent different districts in the country.
So you know what's funny about that, though? I don't know if you heard that, but she said that I wouldn't want to be in a party that is lockstep. She ruled the House of Representatives with an iron fist when she was Speaker. Mm-hmm. She demanded that her party be in lockstep. The only reason that she is saying this now is because she sees her party changing big time. So it's going to be interesting to see in these general elections how the moderate Democrats do versus the more, versus the crazed Democrats in the primaries. Then in the general elections, how will these crazed Democrats do against more relatable Republican candidates? Because the Republican candidates, Brandon Gill is a perfect example. Marco Rubio trotting out his wife so that she can call him out on being a Pop-Tart lover. You want to talk about relatable to the American people, and particularly, American men, frankly. I think that is great. So,
well, and then you don't see any of that kind of stuff from Kamala and her man, or AOC and her fiance that she's rumored to have been split from for going on 2 years now. Like, you don't see that kind of banter that exemplifies a healthy relationship, which means that you're a stable person that someone else can rely on. That's a messaging agent to people that you want to support and vote for you. But when it comes to the big tent talk from the Democrats, especially from Nancy Pelosi, keep Paul away from the tent because he might run over some people.
Sally is calling out yours truly. Are you serious, Dan? I want to know if it's a dry heat or a humid heat. Dan, we are in the deep south. He says it's a humid heat. It's always a humid heat.
Yeah, that's true.
That's actually not true.
Every once in a while we get a break.
No, the other day, Joan, you said that it was going to be 94, I think, but not humid. I remember that. So it's not always a dry heat. It's not always a humid heat. We never know what it's going to be. But also there's a difference, Sally. Well, Sally, there's a difference between feels like 101 and feels like 105. Are you with me, Joan?
Yeah.
This is where Joan is yesing the host, and I appreciate that. Just like my home wife, my work wife does the same thing. 623,
it's
Joan.
Easier.
It is easier.
Yeah.
Joan's like, you know what, Mandis, we're running late. I'll just yes you and we can move on. All right, 623, Joan's got the news coming up at 6:30. Joan.
Yeah, big university is going even further than safe spaces for your students. Wait till you hear what this university is doing for incoming freshmen. It's coming up at 6:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Joe and Dan Mandis here. For my friends at the Covered Patio, warmer weather means you want to spend more time outside. By the way, fall is coming as well, which means you also want to spend more time outside in your patio. If you don't have a patio, well, then the Covered Patio, they can build one for you, or they can upgrade your current one. If you want more living space to your home, think about, yes, building or upgrading your patio. Now, at the Covered Patio, they've got all kinds of things to enhance your patio experience. They've got motorized screens so that you can easily keep the patio open when you want some sun, closed when you want some shade or some privacy. So your back screened-in porch becomes a lot more enjoyable. They've got a ton of outdoor living options at the Covered Patio with motorized screens, patio covers, custom wooden decks, and outdoor structures as well. They do have a lot of options with styles for every budget, including yours. The Covered Patio is dedicated to fair prices and customized solutions for your specific home and your specific patio and space. So enjoy your home a lot more with an incredible patio upgrade from the Covered Patio. Reach out to the Covered Patio, please. As always, tell them Dan Mandis told you to reach out. 615-695-2407, 615-695-2407. Online, thecoveredpatio.com, thecoveredpatio.com. Dan Mandis here, 625, glasses free, thanks to Dr. Jeff Horn and Vision for Life. I wore glasses for, I had to be, 30 years, 40 years, whatever it was. But no longer since I had my procedure at Vision for Life, courtesy of Dr. Horn, Dr. Jeff Horn. So many people, maybe even you, are living with cataracts, and maybe you don't even realize how much it is affecting or impacting your everyday life. Now, the good news is the fix is quick. It all begins with a personalized consultation with Dr. Horn at Vision for Life. I was really impressed. He took a lot of time with me, answered all of my questions. Now, the good news is the fix is quick. It all begins with that personalized consultation. If you've been dealing with blurry or cloudy vision, glare or halos around lights, colors that just don't seem as bright as they used to, well, those are all signs of cataracts. And a lot of people, driving becomes even difficult, even dangerous, especially at night. Some people even experience double vision in one eye. Now, that is not something that you have to live with. Cataract surgery today, it is fast, it is painless, and the results can be truly life-changing. So don't wait. Call my buddy, Dr. Jeff Horn, and all the vision pros at Vision for Life, 615-436-2020, 615-436-2020 to schedule your cataract evaluation with Dr. Horn today and find out if you qualify. 615-436-2020, visionforlife.com. Dan Mandis here, and friends, if you have a 2, 3, or 4% mortgage rate, don't refinance it. You don't have to. But you can still get cash out of your home courtesy of Loan Pronto's zero-cost equity loan. That's right. Now, with Loan Pronto, you can get all the cash you need without touching that first mortgage and without any fees. Now, one local homeowner just got $100,000, paid off all their credit cards, paid off that existing HELOC as well, remodeled their kitchen, and saved over $1,500 every single month. And it does get better. There's no hard credit pull up front, usually no appraisal, and no long drawn-out process, and no closing costs. You might even be able to skip your next 2 house payments. So call Loan Pronto right now. Leave your low-rate mortgage intact, but get the cash you need in as little as 2 weeks without paying closing costs. Find them online. It is loanpronto.com. See how much money you can get right now. Loanpronto.com. 615-499-5780. Tell them Dan told you to reach out. 615-499-5780. loanpronto.com for qualified homeowners, equal housing lender, NMLS 166-1781, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Good morning. It's now 6:30. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. The freakout continues over President Trump switching planes when he flew home from Turkey last month. Democrat lawmakers are now demanding what they call transparency.
The president reportedly hiding inside a catering truck to depart on a military jet instead of Air Force One. ABC News has learned Secretary of State Marco Rubio and Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent stayed on board Air Force One, but knew Trump had switched planes. The aides and reporters around them did not. Democrats want answers and are now demanding a congressional briefing.
It's ABC's Karen Waugh reporting. The Wall Street Journal says that it was the first time in Trump's presidency that such a decoy effort had been used. In North Carolina, police have arrested a man in the beating of a DoorDash driver. Kristen Phillips said she had been making deliveries one night last week when a Range Rover stopped in front of her and then didn't move, so she honked. The driver looped around, followed her. When she made the next delivery, he jumped out and beat her with a baseball bat.
When the guy hit me in the head and I was knocked out, I believe he thought I was dead and he left me for dead. And it's a miracle that I woke up.
She needed brain surgery afterward. 34-year-old Stanley Shockley appeared in court yesterday. He's being held without bond. And a big university making some questionable changes.
Beginning next fall, instead of getting an A, B, C, or D, some first-semester freshmen at the University of Michigan will get only a pass or no credit. And neither designation will count toward their GPA. The university says this will allow students to explore a subject that may not come easily to them or take a course in a new field without the fear that a low grade may have long-term consequences. The school says the goal is to help students start strong and curb the mental health crisis unfolding among college-aged individuals.
That's ABC's Hannah Battah. That is the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Thank you, Joan. 6:33, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Dan Mandis here. You know, dogs are supposed to be man's best friend, but sometimes, like all relationships, yes, they need to work. Ridgeside K9 Nashville, they can help you help your dog. Now, I do call these folks the dog whisperers. Now, they've helped thousands of dogs and their owners over the last 25 years solve behavioral issues. They can help you and your dog as well. So if you have a dog that has issues like aggression, potty problems, anxiety, or basic obedience, they can help you. Help your dog with just about anything. I do call them the premier dog trainers in Middle Tennessee, Ridgeside K9 Nashville. I love dogs. I love what these folks do. Now, one of the things that they believe in is that owner education is just as important as dog training, and long-term success with your dog begins with you. And Ridgeside K9 Nashville, they do have a lifetime support guarantee. They are there for you 24/7, 365. Call Jeff today. Tell him Dan told you to reach out. 615-878-0380. 615-878-0380. They've got a great website. You want to check it out. Also, their social media. Check them out on Instagram and Facebook. The website is RSK9, RSK9Nash.com. RSK9Nash.com. Ridgeside K9 Nashville. Veteran-owned, proven results, and guaranteed for life. Hey, it's Dan Mandis from Super Talk 99.7 WTN and Nashville's Morning News. I'm here with Chris from USS, United Structural Systems. He's checking out my basement, my foundation, my crawl space to see if there's anything wrong. Fingers crossed. All right, so there's good news and there's bad news. The bad news is we found some cracks in my basement wall. The good news, I've got Chris here who's going to walk me through the next steps.
Yes, so unfortunately, your house has been subject to the pressure of the dirt. The hydrostatic pressure, heavy dirt pushes on foundation walls, and you've got a little bit of what we call bowing. So that wall is pushed in a little bit. We have a lifetime warranty solution for that. So we install, usually in a day or two, this can be done in most situations. We install carbon fiber straps, which keep the wall from moving inward at any point in the future. It's a lifetime warranty. for anybody that ever owns this house. So it's a quick and routine thing that we do, but it yields some long-lasting benefits.
It's a great selling point if you want to sell your house.
Absolutely. Good thing about our warranties is they're not only transferable, like the contract says, they're automatically transferred when you sell your house. So you don't have to sign any paperwork or even send us an email saying that you sold your house. Warranty would transfer to the next owner.
Volume delay starting to heat up now. We have a crash, too, in Smyrna. It's on Sam Ridley Parkway, the westbound lanes at Industrial Boulevard. And we're hearing from Super Texters saying that there's something happening on Joe B. Jackson Parkway in Murfreesboro. No traffic cameras there, so I can't really tell what's happening. Just know that you may need a couple of extra minutes traveling through that area this morning. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.637 Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Welcome on in. It is your Wednesday, August 12th. By the way, Brian Wilson is going to be joining us at 7:06. It's Wednesdays with Wilson. Always appreciate having Brian on. By the way, real quickly, I'll be emceeing an event celebrating Feed America First out in Murfreesboro. The event is August 25th. Senator Marsha Blackburn will be there as well. It is going to be, Sam is telling me about, I thought it was at a hotel. It's not. Is it the View at the Fountains? And it's a really nice place in Murfreesboro. So if you want to come out, I think there's a few tickets left. But it's going to be a lot of great speeches. And again, a big celebration of Feed America First, because they have been, feeding folks in Middle Tennessee for years and years and years. And I love what they do, so I'm proud to be a part of this great event. If you want to go, get tickets. It's feedamericafirst.com, feedamericafirst.com. Find out all about the event. One of my favorite meltdowns, because, Joan and Sam, we like to feature meltdowns on this show, especially when it's people on the left. The left. I don't know if you... I don't know if you saw this yesterday.
Will win. Grace will win. Humility will win. And kindness will win. I stand by them. I will always stand by them. Everybody else can go to hell.
Ooh.
You know who that is?
Yeah, isn't that
That
the
is
coach?
the Indiana Fever coach, Stephanie White. So she's the coach, of course, in charge of Caitlin Clark. I love that, though, how she's like, love and kindness and respect
and
will
grace.
win out.
Yes.
And all you can go to hell. I don't know. I find that funny, actually. She's a coach in charge of Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham. And she had said that, remember yesterday, and I don't have the video, but yesterday we spoke about how she said that the vicious foul against Sophie Cunningham was not a foul. And to her left, Caitlin Clark was sitting there sort of, face in hands going, are you kidding me? Coach, it was obviously a vicious foul. And anybody who's been keeping up with this story knows that Sophie Cunningham was brutally fouled. And so she had said that the vicious foul against her player was not a foul, basically throwing her entire team, in my opinion, under the bus. And so there was a lot of criticism of Indiana Fever coach Stephanie White. Clearly, she had felt that criticism. And as you can imagine, she started to feel that criticism. And so, yesterday she did snap. And by the way, one of my favorite parts of, when she says go to hell is you can actually hear her grab the piece of paper that she was reading and she bolts. She just tells everybody to go to hell, and then she just gets up and she leaves. So this is what she said leading up to telling people that disagreed with her call for unity and love and respect to go to hell. This is what she said. Listen.
For those who have anything to say about the play in the last game, I didn't see the play in real time. I went straight to a press conference. I thought the play got called right. Thankfully, Sophie's okay. Was it egregious? Absolutely. When you have a chance to watch that over and over and over on replay, you can see that. I didn't have that in real time.
Can I ask a question? So you're the coach, and you know that you're going to be asked about that play. Why wouldn't you, before you go to the press conference, take a couple of minutes and go watch the video? Why would you not do that? I've been to my fair share of sports press conferences many years ago. Sometimes they start right away. Sometimes they don't start right away. Sometimes there's something that needs to be taken care of after a game. So it is her responsibility as the coach to make sure that you're not talking out your arse. And that is exactly what she did. She got caught, and now she's getting defensive.
I have a question that would precede that. Why didn't you see it in real time? Your player was on a breakaway to the basket. Where else would your eyes have been as the head coach of the team?
Fair. That's a great point, Sam. And I don't know. And maybe she did see it in real time, but she didn't see the replay over and over and over again. I have no idea. You know what, Sam? Why don't you look up the play and see where she was in relation to the play? Because maybe she did see it, but in fairness to her, maybe she saw it in real time. But when you see something on a replay and you see it many times on a replay, then you change your mind, or you see, or hear what the announcers maybe say, the analysts and all of that, and maybe then you change your mind. But it just seems silly, because you would think that it would have, behoove you to check it out before you went to the press conference. And so the whole thing just seems silly. I think that she isn't used to this kind of scrutiny, the Fever coach. She's not used to this kind of scrutiny, and she got burned because her take clearly was just so wrong.
Were there any I take personally any suggestions that I don't 100% always have my players back. I ride with them 10 toes down all the time. All the time. They know that. It's a shame that we can't have an opportunity to talk about what great basketball they're playing. Because they are f***ing playing.
So Sam says that he's looked at the video of the play in real time.
If you want to go to Colin Rugg's X page, he's got the video posted with the racist tweet that came out after from Dejanay Carrington of white privilege.
Yes.
And if you look dead center of the clip, there's a woman in a black pantsuit with a gray blazer on. That's the coach. That's Stephanie White watching the play happen in real time.
She lied? What?
It sounds like she lied, Joan. Actually, yeah, because I just played the audio where, and I don't want to play the whole thing over again, but, she said that she didn't, I think she said that she didn't see it. Or exactly she didn't see the replays.
She said she didn't see it in real time. Only after she saw the replays over and over again.
I think do you know what I think happened, Joan? I think what happened is she realized that there were so many people that were saying that this was, there's some people that are saying it was a felony, but a flagrant foul, whatever you want to call it. And she realized that everybody was saying that she was wrong on this, including, by the way, her players. And I think that's why she feels so attacked by all of this. I find the whole thing funny myself. I do. Because when you're a coach for the WNBA, most people, let's be honest, couldn't pick you out of a lineup. And so, she says her little flea-bitten opinion about how it was not a flagrant foul. And she just basically realized how wrong she was because people started, really going after her. So I find the whole thing, to me, kind of funny.
I pulled the clip up on the stream for people. If you look over to the left, the tall woman by the banner on the court, that's the coach, Stephanie White. And you can see she's watching Sophie go for the layup in real time. Her eyes are looking right at it. Crazy.
And by the way, here's the other part of that. She also had 3 quarters, because remember, this happened at the end of the first quarter. So she had 3 quarters to dialogue with her player, Sophie Cunningham, and other players about that play. Now, I don't know, in fairness, if she knew about the the tweet that was sent out by Dejane, whatever the heck her name is. But, I mean, she certainly could have dialogued with the coach. Did she? Here's the other question. Sam, did she argue? I thought she argued with the ref after the play. Did she not argue with the ref? I know that Sophie did.
Oh, yeah. No, she was arguing with the ref.
The coach was?
No. Oh, I thought you
yeah, Sophie Cunningham did, but did the coach?
No, she wasn't. Because in the press conference right after, she said, "Oh, no, Nay plays tough. I know she plays hard. I don't think it was intentional."
All right, it is 6:46. Time to check the roads on WTN. Weather for your Wednesday, August 12th, mix of clouds and sun, possible storms, a high of 94. Going to feel like 105. Appreciate you listening to Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7. Just to put a final wrap on this whole conversation with the Fever coach, Stephanie White, as she is defending herself against her horribly wrong opinion. She gets really defensive here, clearly towards the end.
The hate, the fear-mongering, the divisiveness, the stuff that's trying to hijack our league will not win. We are united. We are connected. We will not be divided. Every day these women put their ass on the line. When they go low, we go high. Love will win. Grace will win. Humility will win. And kindness will win.
Right.
I stand by them. I will always stand by them. Everybody else can go to hell.
That's just too funny. Honestly, it's too funny.
It is funny, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, and here's the thing. She says that, we are united and all of these other things, but I don't think that the league is united. Like, isn't that part of the problem with the league? Is that they are clearly divided over whether or not men should be included in their league. They don't really know what to do because you've got now two former NBA players that are putting on wigs and basically saying that they should be eligible for the WNBA because they now identify as women. And obviously they're trying to make a point. The WNBA, though, they don't know how to handle this. They don't know how to handle it at all. But here's the other thing. She says, we are united. The other thing that I would say is, are you really united? Because two of your best players are getting the crap beat out of them every single day out on the court. And I mean, I don't know if the entire league is in agreement that these two of the star players of the WNBA should be fouled the way that they are. But I don't think the league is united on that. Do you know what I do wonder, Joan? Is that I don't know anybody in the WNBA. Shocking, I know. But are there any other players, and maybe somebody who follows this more closely, maybe I'll ask David Cohn, but you've got Caitlin Clark and you've got Sophie Cunningham against all these other players. And are there players that are quietly defending or in the camp of Sophie Cunningham and Caitlin Clark? Because I don't hear anybody else stepping up. I don't hear anybody else stepping up and defending these two players. I don't know why that is, but I mean, if there's somebody that, is sort of on the side of these two, it feels like they're sort of on an island, but.
Well, maybe we should follow the money, right? So if it wasn't for these two, who's watching the WNBA?
Nobody.
Right. So they're bringing the needed attention. Now people are tuning in just to see, if a black girl is going to scratch a white girl's face. That happened last night, too.
Did it really?
Yeah.
What? Tell me the story.
Hang on. Now I have to find it.
Do you know what the best, while you're looking at that, is it? I think it was The Onion. Sam, you may have to correct me on this. I think it was The Onion or one of these other things. But, somebody, it's like a fake headline where, Caitlin Clark was asked, how it feels to have white privilege. And she said, it's weird. It feels a lot like getting beaten up by black lesbians.
Yep.
Was that The Onion?
The Not the Bee.
Not the Bee. That's right. It was Not the Bee.
Oh, yeah.
Very, very funny. All right. So did you find it? What happened last night?
there was hold on, WNBA scratch. We'll see if we can find it back on X this morning.
I mean, there seems to be something that happens every single
night. Yep. Okay. Nope, that's not it. I'm going to have to find it because it happened again last night. And yeah.
Well, you know what?
Angel Reese. There we go. Angel Reese smacked Julie Allemand, who is a white girl, in the face and scratched her face really bad. The two of them were going up for, it looks like Angel Reese had the ball and the white girl was trying to take it out of her hands. And so Angel Reese came down with her fingers like a cat and scratched down her face. Evil.
So is this now
stuff.
is this now just turning into a black-white thing? Like, is this what this is going to be?
I'm going to put it up on my X.
Okay.
So, you can, if somebody wants to see it, you can follow me there.
Professional bricklayer, Angel Reese.
Is that what?
She literally, like 70% of her offensive rebounds are me-bounds. She
What's
gets her
that
own.
mean?
She gets her own rebound because she missed. She has missed more wide open layups than I've seen anyone miss in any sport.
All right. Well, and on that, we'll find out. I have no idea what else to say about that.
Yeah.
Do you know what? If you don't agree with me on any of this,
Everybody else can go to hell.
that's whatever.
Anthony says she sounds like she's getting ready for a sales pitch at a Subaru dealership.
See, that's funny, actually, but she said the WNBA is united. Clearly, they're not. It is 6:52, and Joan has the news coming up at 7. Joan.
Hey, did you hear about Medicaid? And that the Trump administration is making some changes to the types of therapies and surgeries that kids can get covered. I've got that story coming up for you at 7 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
$6:53, Super Talk 99.7. Dan Mandis here for my friends at USS United Structural Systems. Now, they are experts in waterproofing, concrete leveling, foundation repair. They are the absolute best here in the state of Tennessee. Now, these types of issues, they do not get better over time. They get worse without the proper fix. You know that, and they know that, and that is why they are here to help. Now, they've helped me over the years with my foundation. I can tell you from personal experience that they treated me right. Communication was outstanding. The work was excellent, and customer service was top-notch. United Structural Systems, they've been helping Middle Tennesseans for a long time because they do it right, and they are going to treat you right. Now, if you don't have the money right now to fix whatever is ailing your home, whether it is waterproofing, concrete leveling, or foundation repair, for a limited time, they do have some special financing at USS. So how can they help you? They can offer you a 10% discount when you pay in full, or the option to fix it now, pay later with 18 months, no payment, no interest, or you can choose the 36 months, no interest with low payment option for qualified homeowners. So you want to call them again. Those are for a limited time. You want to call them, tell them Dan told you to reach out at 615-488-7855, 615-488-7855, USSTN.com. $654 Generator Super Center. Listen, friends, one of your biggest priorities in life is to protect your family. If the power goes out in your neighborhood, you need to protect your family. You need to get your power on quickly. You need the Generator Super Center. Now, you've seen the horror stories. Maybe you lived through the horror stories of power being out for days or weeks at a time. Remember what happened here in Middle Tennessee back in January. Now, the Generator Super Center, they can help you in times like that. They provide backup home standby generators at a terrific price and outstanding customer service. Go to their website right now. It's GeneratorSuperCenterofNashville.com and see how they can save you $500. You can also get started right there on the website, GeneratorSuperCenterofNashville.com. They do feature turnkey installation, certified plumbers and electricians, and service after the install, and a whole lot more. So the power goes out in your neighborhood, you've got a backup power generator, so your power is going to go right back on. Call them, tell them Dan told you to reach out. 615-879-1952, 615-879-1952. And don't forget to check out their website, GeneratorSuperCenterofNashville.com, and see how you can save $500. $6:58, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Joan, we had one hater on the Super Text line because we were talking about the WNBA. And we're not going to get into the specifics about what he said. Basically, though, he doesn't feel like the WNBA is a real story that is deserving of such attention. You know, and I keep saying this ad nauseum, the story about the WNBA is not about, it's not about the WNBA per se. It's about politics. It is about culture. It is about race relations as well. It's about a lot of stuff. But here's the other thing. You look at the super text line, we got like 50 people that are responding with engagement to that particular story and one negative Nelly. So whatever. Hey, will Donald Trump run for a third term? This is what the president said last night. You ready? Here we go. He's wearing, by the way, this video.
Yeah.
This video shows him wearing a Trump 2028 hat. Listen to this.
You mentioned 2028 several times in the last few weeks. At the dinner, you put on a Trump 2028 hat. Are you serious about seeking a third term?
Everybody asks me that question, and you know that the law is very strong on that. I'd love to run, but the law is very strong. I get asked by well, even tonight, they're screaming at the event. 2028. No, everybody wants me to do it, but the law is very strong.
Is that a no?
The funny thing is, he doesn't actually say no, Joan.
Yeah,
he says the law is very strong on that. Everybody wants me to do it. Everybody asks me to do about it. Even tonight, they were chanting 2028 or whatever at the event. He didn't say no.
But he's doing that on purpose.
I know he's doing it on purpose.
So that people will just go bat-ass crazy and talk about it again.
I think it's great. You know, I'm going to ask Brian Wilson about what he thinks about Donald Trump running for a third term. Brian Wilson, it is Wednesdays with Wilson coming up next right here. Real quick, Sam, what is our Daily Dan poll right now. Remind me what it is.
Oh, would you be angry if you were a reporter left on a plane marked for an assassination attempt?
What are people saying?
Well, the options were yes, no, and only if it blows up. With no, I wouldn't be mad, leading with 35%. Only if it blows up, right behind it with 34%. And yes, I would be angry with 31%.
All right, Brian Wilson, I'm going to ask him about that and a whole lot more straight ahead. Super Talk, 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories, the forecast and traffic coming up in 5 minutes. Primary news in a setback for Democrats' progressive wing. Thanksgiving-hating candidate for Wisconsin Governor Francesca Hong narrowly lost her primary to the moderate Democrat David Crowley. He's going to face the House Speaker there, Lisa DeMuth. She beat Mike Lindell. He had the endorsement of President Trump. This pro-Somali woman just won the Democrat primary for U.S. Senate in Minnesota.
Assalamu alaikum. My name's Peggy Flanagan. I am the Lieutenant Governor of Minnesota, and I'm really honored and humbled to be here with all of you today.
And on the Republican side in Minnesota, former NFL sideline reporter Michelle Tafoya easily won her primary for Senate. Darlene Graham is facing Congressman Ralph Norman in a runoff in South Carolina. In the primary for her brother's seat, Trump endorsed Darlene Graham as well. And over to Connecticut, where 14-term Democrat John Larson was primaried by former Hartford Mayor Luke Bronin, who called for generational change. State-level discussions are underway now about intervening in local property tax increases, especially in Nashville. Senate Majority Leader Jack Johnson speaking with Matt Murphy.
But I hope that Mayor O'Connell and members of the Metro Council are hearing these business owners, and because to see these music venues shut down, there's no place in the world like what we have on Broadway. And whether you're a music fan or not, I'm from Central Texas near Austin. They call themselves the live music capital of the world. They're not. Nashville is.
Both Johnson and House Leader Cameron Sexton have urged Governor Bill Lee to call a special session to consider remedies to the skyrocketing tax issue. The Trump administration announcing yesterday that Medicaid will no longer cover gender transition surgeries and hormone therapies for minors. Here's Dr. Oz, administrator for the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services.
Children deserve our protection, not experimental interventions that can have dangerous, lifelong consequences. These procedures, including puberty blockers, cross-sex hormones, and certain surgeries, can carry serious risks, including infertility, impaired sexual function, diminished bone density, altered brain development, and other irreversible effects.
Dr. Oz says the decision came after a review concluded that the evidence supporting these interventions for kids remains insufficient to justify federal taxpayer funding. And a legal win for Tennessee in the Biden administration's war on gas stoves. A federal appeals court has struck down the Biden rule that limited how much energy Americans could use in their kitchen appliances. Attorneys general in Tennessee and 6 other states said those rules would make gas stoves more expensive and less useful. Market numbers brought to you by Beacon Capital Management online at beaconcm.com. Right now, the Dow futures are plus 92, the NASDAQ futures up 207, and the S&P futures are plus 21. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News. There is an accident on 40 westbound in the Hillwood area. It's westbound at Charlotte Pike. The right entrance lane has been blocked off by it. Calvary Cemetery, Fessler's Lane at Lebanon Pike. Watch for a crash there as well. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.707 Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning to your friends. Hope you are doing well, and welcome on in to your Wednesday. It is August 12th, and Brian Wilson joins us here on Super Talk 99.7 Wednesdays with Wilson. Brian, how are you?
I'm doing very well. And let me, if you'll just allow me a personal moment here off the top here, to say thank you. And I'm just overwhelmed by the graciousness and the kindness extended to me by members of our audience with the recent passing of my sister. She was a tremendously amazing woman, and she died unexpectedly, and people were just so gracious and kind, and I've even just gotten flooded with cards from people who listen to this radio station. So I want you to know, from the bottom of my heart, I appreciate that. Truly, it meant a lot to me.
Well, Brian, I got to tell you, I met your sister on a number of occasions, and she was an amazing woman. I know this came as a complete shock, obviously, to you, to everybody who knew her. So, our deepest, condolences to you and your family. So I know you just got back. There is a lot of politics that is out there that we want to talk about. So let's get right to it. One of the things that I thought, I've been dying to get your opinion on this, which is how you feel about President Trump using that second plane and leaving the media onto the on the first plane. The media they're very upset with this, and for people that don't know, we've been covering it a lot. There was a threat on the president's life from Iran. So he got on the main Air Force One. He ultimately got onto a second airplane, left the media, the White House press corps, on the first plane. And
see you later, suckers.
Yeah, and so now they're all upset. So I don't know. What do you think about that? Do they have a right to be upset?
Well, the shell game, by the way, that is played a lot. I mean, for example, there is one plane that takes off from the lawn of the White House, but it is immediately, as soon as it takes off from the lawn, joined by two others. And they do a little dipsy doodle dance. And the idea here is, of course, well, which one of them has the president? You don't really know. So it's a security measure, and they've done this before. Look, it is unusual, don't get me wrong, for him to go up the stairs of one airplane and then out the back door when nobody's looking, get into a service vehicle and go to a completely different plane. Apparently, the Secretary of War, Hegseth, was with him on the smaller plane, but two other cabinet members apparently were left on Air Force One. I mean, if there was a threat, then yes, the people on Air Force One were at greater risk, and I don't think at a tremendous risk, but I think at a greater risk. And but that's not the goal of the Secret Service. Is not to protect the press corps. The goal of the Secret Service is to protect the President of the United States, and they from time to time do this. I do remember one situation, though, with Bill Clinton. I think we lost Bill Clinton one time when I was on press pool duty. And it was a weekend, and he would often go play golf or do something on a weekend like that. And so it wasn't.
I got two words for you, Brian. I got two words for you. Energizer Bunny. That's where Bill Clinton was. If you lost him, I promise you that's where he was.
So we were in, when you are in the travel pool, you get in the motorcade with the president and you go where the president goes, even if it's to what they call an off the record event, or if he's going to a fundraiser, you go and hang out nearby. If he's going golfing, you go golfing. Whatever the president does, when you're supposed to never lose the president. But I remember one time we came out the gates of the northwest gates of the White House, took a left, and the Secret Service shut us down at an intersection. So the uniform division of the Secret Service did, and we got left behind. And by the time we caught up to the president in his motorcade, he was coming out of a hotel. The motorcade was coming out of a motel and going back to the White House, and we turned around. We actually never saw him. We have no idea whether he was in that motorcade, whether he was not in that motorcade, whether they took him to the hotel and dumped him. I'm pretty sure we lost him that day, and I'm not sure that there was ever a satisfactory explanation. And they was, just a screw-up, salt, what we were told. But they have played this game before, and I'm not surprised.
When it comes to the media, the White House press corps being upset that they were left on this plane, let me ask you this question, Brian. Things have certainly changed since you were, part of. I don't remember if you were part of the official White House press corps. I know that you've been on Air Force One before, but I mean, these days they instantaneously get on their socials, so they can't be trusted with information like, "Hey, the president just got on a separate plane."
Yeah, they cannot, and you know what? The Secret Service is one of those things. Well, they'll apologize later. Oh, well, we're very sorry, but we had to make a decision under a very tight timetable, and our ultimate responsibility here is the president. They'll have an answer for it. I don't think it hurts the Secret Service, but it is interesting to see the wailing and the gnashing of teeth by the press corps. We were put in danger. Well, you know what? Yeah, you are. Anytime you get in the proximity of the president of the United States, he's a target of many people around the world, and you're in proximity to that. So, yeah, it's dangerous. That's the way it is. So suck it up, Buttercup.
Well, they know, as I've been saying, they know the gig is dangerous when they take it, especially this president.
Yes, absolutely.
Sorry. So very good. Let's move on to Anthony Fauci's text messages.
Wow.
I mean, the pants, I'm sorry, friends, for the visual on this, but the pants of Anthony Fauci have been pulled down. I mean, clearly with the diaries released and now the emails and the text messages and so forth. What do you think? And Brian, I'm going to let you cogitate on this, but I'm going to ask you, coming back from the traffic, what do you think is the most egregious of the new material that we have just seen released regarding Anthony Fauci and what was on his phone? And the text messages. It is 7:15. Time to check the roads on WTN. As far as your weather goes, going to be a hot day today. Mix of clouds and sun, possible storms as well. High of 94. Going to feel like 105. So Brian Wilson joining us here on WTN Wednesdays with Wilson. Brian, what was the worst thing that we've seen thus far of the material released related to Dr. Anthony Fauci?
Well, this new development about pregnant women may be at risk by taking the follow-on vaccine, the what do they call it, the second dose of the vaccine,
the booster.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And so, he says in his email that, there may hypothetically be some risk. Well, you know what? That's something that should have been shared with the American people. I can recall a case that I know very well, Dan, where there was a young married woman who did not want to take the shot because she was of childbearing year. They were trying to have a kid. They were trying to get pregnant and as newlyweds. And because she declined to take the shot, she lost her job. And you know of cases like that. I know of cases like that. But yes, as it turned out, she was right. There
Brian,
was a reason to be concerned about that.
You're absolutely right. We both know people like that. And I think most people listening know somebody who lost a job or they weren't allowed to do whatever it is that they wanted to do because they refused to get the experimental vaccine.
And bigger picture, Dan, here is that, I'm coming to the understanding over the years that I've covered government that rushed policy is almost always bad policy. And we were rushing around trying to solve the COVID problem, and we might have done better to have slowed down and taken a deep breath, and taken a different approach to it. Some of the approach that some other countries took, for example. I think Trump had no. He had no other choice but to develop the vaccine. Can you imagine the howls that would have happened if during his administration he had done nothing to develop a vaccine? It was his job to make sure the government responded with the vaccine, and the government did respond with the vaccine. But that's where it should have ended. And when the Biden people came in and started mandating, you got to take this shot and you got to do this and you got to do that, and making it difficult, for companies who had to make some very tough decisions during that time, he really owes us an explanation of how this happened. Two things. Number one, I think this thing about pregnant women could be at risk if they take the second dose. The other part of it, of course, is sort of the confirmation that he knew there was gain of function stuff going on at the Wuhan Institute of Virology. I mean, millions of people died here because they were messing around with a virus they shouldn't have been messing around with.
Yep. Gain of function. And it seems to me anyway, and some people on the left will disagree, I think most conservatives, most Republicans who look at the evidence, and we don't have time to get into all of this, but will agree that ultimately the money that paid for that gain of function research follow the money, and it goes right from Dr. Anthony Fauci to the Wuhan lab for that gain of function research. So that is, it's one of those things where, pick the worst part. I mean, there's so many worst parts, I don't even know where to begin.
And we probably haven't heard all of it yet.
Oh, no, you just wait. All right, last thing, Brian, on my plate, I want to talk to you about what happened in the governor's race in Wisconsin, where the DSA commie Francesca Hong was apparently wrong for the people of Wisconsin.
Hong was wrong. Hong got conned.
Well, I did say Wong because during the newscast, Joan, who I almost called Pamela, Joan said, called her Francesca Wong, and so I thought, hey, what a great joke. Francesca Hong was Wong for the people of Wisconsin. See what I did? Whatever.
I see what you. And I said she got Hong. Hong got Konged.
Yes, you did. In the text between you and I, yes.
Yeah, I know. Well, these things we do to amuse ourselves. That's clear.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, you know what? I think the Democrats there dodged a bullet by not choosing Hong. It would have been, I think, our desire on our side to compete against her. But I think it's a sign to Democrats, and I think Democrats are now, getting that message that they need to moderate their position, that they can't push too far, too quick, and they almost always do. The Democrats, the extreme left wing of the party, really goes a step too far, and they have a history of doing that. And people sort of rear back their heads and say, "Oh no, I'm not going there with you on that." And I think that's what they have determined, and I think they're going to start moderating their position. If they're smart, they will. I'm not sure they're completely smart, but I'll tell you something else. It is just shocking that we're even having a conversation about the rise of socialism in America. I just can't get over that fact on its own merit.
Well, and you hit the nail on the head, because I think on the one hand you have a lot of Republicans and conservatives, smirking at the loss of Hong. But at the same time, we've all been talking here on the morning show. I mean, if I was running, I would much rather run against Hong than a moderate candidate.
Yeah, me too. Absolutely.
What do you think the Democrats are going to do, Brian? I mean, do they stand up to this kind of a thing? Because if they do, then there's going to be a significant part of their base who are going to be angry.
Well, power doesn't give up easily. When you have control or power, so the establishment Democrats are largely there's still a bunch of them that are in positions of power because they've been there a long time. That's why they're establishment. They've been there forever, and they burrow themselves in, and they get to be committee chairmen or ranking members if they're in the minority. And I just don't think that we're going to see a change there. And it's sad, but that's the way it is. And so they're going to rise up. The moderate Democrats are going to rise up and try to hold on to the power. And I think there's going to be some pushback. And I think you're hearing from some of the party elders who are saying, you know what, if we don't moderate our position here just a little bit, these Democrats are going to kill us and we're going to lose an opportunity. So I think you'll see a very quick moderation of their positions in the days ahead.
Yeah, but they can't control the primaries though. Like Abdul al-Said won in Michigan, for example.
Right.
So the party elders, your Nancy Pelosi's and your Chuck Schumer, maybe your James Carville, they can scream and complain all they want, but the reality is that it kind of feels like the young upstarts, the DSA commies, they don't care what the party elders say. As a matter of fact, it feels like they're kind of giving them the middle finger.
Well, I'll tell you something. AOC was moderating her position just yesterday.
She was
out there making statements, moderating her positions, which have been very radical and very socialistic and maybe a borderline communistic at times. And she is now saying, oh, well, maybe we went a little too far, and woke one was a little crazy, and when you see her starting to back down, somebody somewhere has done a study on the Democrat side of the equation, and it has informed the Democrats in power that if you go down this path, you will lose, and you don't want to go too far if you're a Democrat in this environment. You want to try to hold on to what you've got and, maybe build in some areas with the socialist message, but it's not going to fly with a lot of Democrats. And I think they've gotten that message.
Brian, always great to have you on Wednesdays with Wilson. We'll talk to you, by the way, brought to you by our friends at the Wellness Institute of Nashville. We'll talk to you next Wednesday at 7:06, unless, news warrants. All right, see you later. 7:23, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Joan, did you like my joke?
Yeah,
Francesca Hong was Wong for the people of.
Where'd you get that inspiration, Dan?
Joan.
From me.
From Joan's.
It's so funny. I wrote it in my script as Wong, and after I read it, I thought, that's Wong.
I thought it was funny. I actually started laughing when I heard it, because that's a total thing that Mandis would do. Yeah. I mean, can we all be honest?
Well, we all know two Wongs don't make a white.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. 7:24, and hopefully Joan will get the newscast not Wong, but right, and that is coming up at 7:30. Joan, what you got?
Yeah, we've got the latest details from the threat that President Trump was facing when he left Turkey and did the plane switcheroo. Listen to the new details coming out now at 7:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Dan Mandis here, and listen, I've been a client of Dr. Kevin Mitchell for about 12 years now, and he's awesome. And so is my formerly bad back, thanks to the Wellness Institute of Nashville. Now, they've been changing lives for 20 years with innovation and technology. They can help you as well if you're suffering from sciatica, neuropathy, spinal stenosis, bulging discs, neck pain, back pain, tingling, and weakness in your arms and legs. They can help you. Find them online, painisbad.com. Again, this year does mark 20 years with Pioneer Days in technology ways. Now, they've always been big time on innovation and technology. This is all part of that. So this year, again, marking 20 years with Pioneer Days in Technology Ways. To celebrate in style, Dr. Mitchell is offering you the Big 20, gives you 50% off non-surgical spinal decompression. Discover why patients across Tennessee trust Dr. Kevin Mitchell and Dr. Ashley for answers and relief. I certainly did. Many others have as well. Find them online, painisbad.com, 615-246-5009, 615-246-5009. Painisbad.com is the website. Dr. Mitch and Dr. Ashley at the Wellness Institute of Nashville have my seal of approval. $727. I blame Sam for that. I'm just kidding. 727, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7. The summer heat can wear anybody out, but if you've been feeling drained, even with the air conditioning on, listen, it may not just be the heat. Now, 1 in 4 men from the age of 35 to 50 has low testosterone and low levels of energy and motivation and mood and, of course, a whole lot more. You know, low T does drain your energy and your motivation, so you don't have energy for the things that you love, and you might even stop recognizing yourself. So, get the answers you need this summer for free, courtesy of my friends at Low T Center, where you can book a free testosterone test and get a consultation from licensed providers who specialize in testosterone replacement therapy. You can explore a range of peptides and even get a jump on that summer body with GLP-1s and medical weight loss protocols. Low T Center has been the #1 name in TRT since 2009 for a reason. So don't spend another day wondering why you don't feel like yourself. Visit fixmylowt.com to schedule your free testosterone test today. That's fixmylowt.com.
Good morning. It's 7:30. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories, and we begin with a very sad story out of Cheatham County, where a 3-year-old boy who had gone missing was found dead inside a hot car, an abandoned van that was sitting on his family's property. Here's Channel 4's Braden Ross.
The sheriff's office says an adult family member who was caring for the boy told them they had laid down for a nap around 1 in the afternoon. When they woke up, they couldn't find the toddler. Before sheriff's deputies could make it to the home, they say that boy's minor sibling found him inside a van parked on the family's property.
It doesn't run, but it just sits on the property. But somehow the child got into the van, was able to shut the door behind him. We don't think the child was able to get the door open once they got inside.
The boy was unresponsive, and despite efforts to revive him, he died.
Detectives are still investigating how the boy got into that car. Tennessee Governor Bill Lee declining to stop tomorrow's scheduled execution of death row inmate Darrell Hines. Hines was convicted of first-degree murder in the 1986 stabbing death of a motel maid, Katherine Jenkins, in Kingston Springs. His lawyers had claimed that Hines could suffer cruel and unusual punishment if the state used the same physician who botched another execution in May. The state is not saying who will provide the lethal mix of drugs in Hines' execution. And the latest details about the threat from Iran that President Trump was facing when he switched planes in Turkey last month. Here's NBC's Garrett Hake.
A U.S. official tells NBC News the change was made because of a, quote, extremely serious Iranian threat, including that the Iranian regime could target the president with a shoulder-fired missile. So the Secret Service devising a clandestine departure plan. It was a snap decision, the U.S. official tells us. Our job is to keep the president safe, adding, this is probably the most unprecedented level of alertness we've ever been at.
As for the reporters who remained on Air Force One without knowing what was happening, the White House said those are the risks that everyone signs up for. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather is next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Thank you, Joan. 733, Super Talk 99.7. Why should you go to Brentwood Jewelry for all your jewelry needs? Well, why not? They are, simply put, the best jewelry store in Middle Tennessee. I've bought a number of pieces at Brentwood Jewelry. They've got incredible selections of watches for both men and women for any budget. A great selection of Rolexes, both new and used as well. Pocket knives, too. They've got the William Henry collection. I could go on and on. Now, listen, ladies, guys, if you're getting engaged, they've got everything from wedding bands to semi-mount engagement rings and a whole lot more. And gentlemen, if you're looking for something for that special lady in your life, they do feature at Brentwood Jewelry bracelets and earrings and necklaces and a whole lot more. And again, all at great prices, terrific selection as well, outstanding customer service. So if you need a special gift for special someone, Brentwood Jewelry is where you need to go. Find them online, BrentwoodJewelry.com, 7012 Church Street East, located in the heart of Brentwood, just off Franklin Road. As always, be sure and tell him Dan Mandis told you to reach out. Exceptional styles, exceptional deals every day for over 50 years. BrentwoodJewelry.com.
Definitely something happening on Joe B. Jackson Parkway this morning in Murfreesboro. It is closed to traffic either direction between I-24 and Elam Road. So once again, Joe B. Jackson Parkway closed, I-24 to Elam Road. We don't have any cameras down there. I can't tell what's happening. I can just know that it's closed at this point this morning. Talbot's Corner, 65 southbound side at Trinity Lane. You've got a crash on the right shoulder. Also in Murfreesboro, you've got a crash on 24 eastbound right at Joe B. Jackson Parkway. The right lane is blocked off by it, and they say they've got some TDOT crews out there. Also on 24 westbound in the Murfreesboro area at Church Street, there's another crash with the right exit lane blocked off. Brentwood, Edmondson Pike at Mount Pisgah Road, you've got an accident. And one more in Hillwood on 40 westbound at Charlotte Pike. There's a crash there. The right entrance lane has been blocked. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.737, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Welcome on in to your Wednesday, August 12th, and hope you are having a great morning so far. Senator Bill Hagerty has been busy, and he has now put forward some legislation to try to stop housing welfare for illegal aliens. That is the headlines. It's called the End Housing for Illegal Aliens Act. And the Tennessee senator, of course, is trying to stop illegal aliens from taking advantage of existing federal law. You know, this is all about demagnetizing America, as good old Uncle Phil used to say, demagnetizing America. How many of us have been so incredibly angry when we see that illegal aliens are essentially replacing Americans when it comes to things like, you know, getting some of these subsidies that are supposed to be meant for, you know, the American people, and it goes to illegal aliens. We do see that kind of thing all the time. And so we need to stop that from happening so they will stop coming. So the senator is trying to put forward this legislation. We'll have to see if it passes. But, you know, I think everyone knows that the Republicans won the election last time around in large part because of Joe Biden's open border. So now, of course, y'all know we're seeing all of these stories of fraud that is happening in places like California, places like Minnesota as well. So Hagerty is jumping on that now, which is a good thing. This is Bill Hagerty. He was asked about his legislation.
If you poll Americans, you'd find this is extraordinarily popular. What we found is that illegal aliens are pushing out and crowding out people that are disabled, American taxpayers that are disabled, elderly that are disabled. They've been allowed to participate in federally subsidized housing programs. They're using American taxpayer dollars to jump to the front of the line while putting Americans at the back of the line. It's got to stop.
Yep, and obviously I agree with him. And he knows that Democrats encourage illegal immigration, especially in those cities and those blue states where a lot of Americans are fleeing, and illegals are coming in to, you know, prop up their numbers for congressional representation. And so the senator wants to do, among other things, and, you know, the top of the line, the headline is that he wants to protect your taxpayer dollars from going to illegal aliens and going to support illegal aliens. So what he wants to do, he wants to end illegal alien eligibility for Department of Housing and Urban Development programs. He wants to require public housing authorities to verify only legal citizens are getting those services. And he wants to close the mixed status loophole that apparently allows an illegal alien to room with a legal citizen here in America so that they can get taxpayer-funded housing. He wants to put a stop to all of that, which I would very much agree with.
We're taking the ability of bureaucrats to abuse the system. If you think about what the Biden administration did, they were creating incentives for people to come here illegally. You think about where they situated sanctuary cities. In blue states where they're losing population, where they're losing voters, but they're crowding these states. Think about it. Los Angeles, San Francisco, California losing population. You think about Illinois, Chicago, New York City. They create these sanctuary cities in blue states to backfill the loss of population. Because why? Because you can count these illegal aliens for the purpose of allocating congressional districts. You can count them for the purpose of allocating electoral votes. That is the motive behind the crime. And the result of that is you have states that don't deserve to have congressional seats or electoral votes that are getting them because of this misuse. These incentives, whether they be sanctuary cities or allowing illegals to participate in government-funded, taxpayer-funded housing, have to come to an end. That's what this legislation does.
So that is Senator Bill Hagerty. And again, I love what he's doing. His legislation would also ban block grants from being used for housing for illegal aliens. If you don't know what a block grant is, basically it's a bucket of money from the federal government. So if, say, for example, California gets a bucket of money or block grant from the Fed, they won't be allowed to use it to house illegal aliens. So, we'll see how that goes. By the way, a lot of this is being done at the state level. This is interesting. I saw this headline. Donald Trump's Justice Department is suing states like New York and other blue states over tuition for illegal immigrants. Now, what did I just say just a few moments ago? Where the American people, we are tired of seeing our taxpayer dollars spent to prop up or support illegal immigration and illegal aliens. I love that the president is doing this. And this was a headline that sort of, it's just one of those headlines that we should be seeing more as the president is doing everything he can to combat illegal immigration and demagnetize America. The Department of Justice under the Trump administration announcing yesterday that it plans to file lawsuits against the states of New York, Connecticut, and Vermont over laws that it claims provide in-state tuition and other financial incentives to illegal aliens. They say these laws unconstitutionally discriminate against U.S. citizens who are not afforded the same reduced tuition rates or scholarships, creating incentives for illegal immigration, and reward illegal aliens with benefits that U.S. citizens are not eligible for, all in direct conflict with federal law. I mean, it's true. There's the conflict with federal law. That's number one. Number two, as I keep saying, there's also the aspect of demagnetizing America. They go on to say, the assistant attorney general at the AG's office says, this is a simple matter of federal law. Colleges cannot provide benefits to illegal aliens that they do not provide to U.S. citizens, says Assistant Attorney General Brett A. Shumate of the Justice Department's Civil Division in a press release. This Department of Justice will not tolerate American students being treated like second-class citizens in their own country. So yeah, it is all about, as I'll say for the 9th time in this segment, but you can't say it enough, demagnetizing America. There's a lot of, I think it's fair to say, there's a lot of resentment with illegal immigration right now. Even migrants that are here legally are frustrated with a lot of the illegal immigration. We all know about getting taxpayer-funded benefits, in-state tuition, which we just talked about, to getting CDLs and then driving semis and getting into accidents and killing American citizens. And we all know about the women that have been killed by illegal aliens as well. And you know what? People say, oh, it's racist that you talk about this. I really don't care. It is literally what's happening. So you can't be a racist if you're talking about what is factually true. I think part of these legislative actions really is reminding the American people, in my estimation, what is at stake in the midterm elections. Because I want you to think about this. Because every time we turn around, we're hearing that, the Democrats might take the House, the Democrats might take the Senate. There's a lot at stake in the midterm elections. So for the American people, things like what Senator Hagerty is doing, it is a good reminder of the things that we need to fight against. And we'll see a lot more of it if the Democrats end up taking the House in the midterm elections, the Senate, of course, and we all know what's going to happen. Perhaps in 2028, there is the presidential election, and hopefully it'll be either J.D. Vance or Marco Rubio. Who knows who's going to end up running for the Democrats, but doesn't matter who it is. We know that they will no doubt throw those borders wide open yet again. 7:45, time to check the roads on WTN. As far as your weather goes, for your Wednesday, August 12th, mix of clouds and sun, possible storms, a high of 94. Going to feel like 105. Appreciate you listening to Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Super Text line is open, 615-737-9986. I don't know about you. I find this really funny. Joe, did you hear about this? Sam, did you hear about this? Apparently, ICE is going to spend up to $20 million on thousands of GLOVE, generated low output voltage emitter devices, tactical gloves that function normally until an officer flips a switch. Then these gloves will deliver a brief, painful electric shock.
I love it.
On skin contact to gain compliance from resisting individuals. Do you know why I like this?
Why is that?
It'll save lives.
It'll save lives big time. I mean, that means that they don't have to resort to using a gun right away.
Mm-hmm.
But I wonder, sometimes you see video online that shows them tasing somebody, but there's no effect to that person because they're on drugs or whatever.
Or the prongs don't hit and penetrate deep enough to stop them.
Yeah, but if these are on gloves... If these are on gloves, Joan, I think that there's not going to be a situation where the prongs won't hit. I mean, you can be pretty precise with your hands.
Yeah.
Joan?
I'm sorry.
Hold your hands up again. Did you hear it?
Yeah, I did. That was silly, Sam. See, I'm Joan, for people that are listening on the radio, I talk with my hands, and it's just what I do. So I've got my hands held up, and so then Sam, of course, plays these little sound effects. Do you know what? What was the Star Wars character? Joan, you won't be able to identify with this. Who was the Star Wars character that had the lightning bolts coming out of his fingers?
Emperor Palpatine?
That's what we need. We need like Emperor Palpatine gloves for these illegal aliens. That's exactly right. That's what we need. That'll demagnetize America. Give them a lot of electric shock.
You little sadist.
Joan, I'm trying to demagnetize America because I love America.
You love America.
America. Shock them. All right, moving right along. Anyway, I do. I think that it's a great idea. You had CNN who was talking about this earlier. The volume is down, but I could see the panic on the faces of the anchors on CNN. Oh my gosh, they're doing what? They're going to have gloves that can shock the illegal aliens?
I know. I can just hear it now.
Oh, yeah. Well, and here, the problem, of course, the thing that we've seen with ICE is that they've been attacked by cars. So the gloves won't do any good with the cars. But, if there's illegal aliens, or if there's these folks that are, like that Preddy, what is his name? Scott Preddy? Is that what his name was?
Alex Preddy.
Alex
Preddy, where, like he was doing his foolishness. Unfortunately, he got shot. But if you've got, in all seriousness, I was joking about the Palpatine thing, sort of. But if you've got gloves that will shock these folks into submission, then lives are going to be saved. Why wouldn't we all be for this? I would think that, Joan, what do the Democrats always say? If we could save just one life.
Oh, I thought it was, it's all for the children.
That too.
Yeah.
Or give us your money. There's that one too.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway. All right. It is 7:51, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Super Text line is open, 615-737-9986. 1803. You ready? See, I can't win for losing. 1803. If you don't know enough to know who Emperor Palpatine is, you should not talk Star Wars.
Also known as Darth Sidious.
Yeah. Do you know what's so funny? I used to think, Joan, that I was a bigger Star Wars fan until I met some of the real nerds. And then I realized I don't know jack about Star Wars.
Real nerds like Sam.
I don't know. Sam, you a Star Wars nerd?
Yeah.
Can you speak Wookiee?
Not on command. Can you?
I wouldn't try. I did. You know what? I did one time on
like
the air.
A purr and a growl at the same time.
Yeah, I tried one time. Yeah, I did that one time. I think Pamela Fur was working with me at the time. She literally told me on the air, don't ever do that again. The one time I took career advice from Pamela Fur. Anyway, 7:52, Super Talk 99.7. Joan's got the news coming up at 8 o'clock. Joan.
Yeah, Democrats in Congress are incensed that President Trump switched planes, and now they want action. Also, there's some inflation news out this morning. I've got that too for you coming up at 8 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
$7:53 on Super Talk 99.7. Dan Mandis here. Back to school time means back to busy schedules, homework, and activities as well. The last thing you need to worry about is your HVAC. So let Busy Bee do that for you with big time savings. Now, this month here, the month of August, you schedule any HVAC maintenance or repair, and you get a free dryer vent cleaning. That is added safety and one less thing that you've got to worry about. If you need a new HVAC system, buy a high-efficiency unit, and you'll be entered to win Busy Bee's Healthy Hive giveaway, a $1,500 sponsorship for the local school of your choice. You can also gift your favorite teacher or staff member a Beehive membership. You can also get a $500 gift card with qualifying whole home repipes or mainline replacements. And with approved credit, enjoy 0% financing for 18 months. Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Call them 615-775-7833. 615-775-7833. Online, busybeehvac.com. busybeehvac.com.
Okay, there is a huge problem this morning in Murfreesboro. This is Joe B. Jackson Parkway. This is finally an explanation for what's happening. Joe B. Jackson is shut down from 24 through Elam Farms Parkway. It's because of a motorcycle and SUV accident. The motorcyclist has been airlifted from the scene. That is completely blocked off this morning on Joe B. Jackson between I-24 and Elam Farms. Also, trying to get off on eastbound 24 to the off-ramp of Joe B. Jackson. You can't do it. The off-ramp has been blocked off by that accident this morning. Beware. It's going to take you a couple of extra moments to get around that because it's also made a mess of 41. It's made a mess of a bunch of different roads in that area this morning. You're going to find it jammed all over because of this accident. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
7:58, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning to you. Joan, we were talking in the 5 o'clock hour, as a matter of fact, about how much we appreciate the super texters alerting us when there's a big traffic problem.
Oh, yeah.
And this is another one of those instances where we started getting notes from the super texters at 615-737-9986, alerting us to the big problem on 24. It's going towards town? Is that what it is?
It's the problem, the ramp on eastbound is on eastbound 24. So eastbound 24 heading down toward Chattanooga.
Okay.
The off ramp to Joby Jackson is closed. The eastbound Joby Jackson ramp is closed off. The accident actually happened on Joby Jackson between I-24 and Elam Farms Road.
Okay. So how badly is traffic backed up? I mean, if they're airlifting somebody, then they've got to go through all that.
Yeah, so it's better than it had been, but you're still looking at giant delays behind that on westbound 24, approaching that spot this morning. That's all jammed up. Then also on 231, for whatever reason, that is really jammed up as well, approaching 24. That looks like a real mess.
And you know what? If there's one highway in Middle Tennessee that, I mean, has accidents all the time, and it takes forever for the accident to recover, for the highway to recover, it is 24.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, and they're, again, airlifting somebody. It was a motorcycle involved?
Motorcycle and an SUV.
Okay. Well, prayers for all involved, and we'll keep you updated on the traffic aspects of that accident. It is 8 o'clock, Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. It is 8 o'clock. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. A little Cheatham County boy who was reported missing by his family was found trapped inside a hot abandoned van on his family's property yesterday. He did not survive. Channel 4's Braden Ross.
As hot as it is outside today, there's no telling what the heat index inside that vehicle was.
The sheriff's office says they don't know how long the boy was in the van. Lieutenant Shannon Heflin said detectives are still investigating exactly what happened and how the child got into the van. He added the Department of Children's Services and the district attorney's office will also be involved, but he hopes the tragedy can be a life-saving reminder for others.
The most important thing here today is to educate the general public that how hot it is out here today, and make sure you don't leave a child inside your vehicle, and because this can be the results. Very tragic.
Now, a family member who was watching the boy said they had fallen asleep and lost track of the boy. At least one Metro Council member thinks the No Right on Red ordinance isn't going to get any traction. Here's Courtney Johnston with Matt Murphy yesterday.
So is that something that we need to look at? Maybe. And so maybe this bill starts that conversation, which I'm fine with, but I don't see that this bill in this form passing.
Yeah, that current proposal calls for no right on red lights anywhere in Davidson County where the city picks up your trash. A top Democrat calling for the Senate to be briefed on the Iranian threats against President Trump that reportedly required him to covertly switch planes using a catering truck to depart Turkey last month. In a statement late Tuesday, Minority Leader Chuck Schumer said, quote, the Senate should be immediately briefed. But for others like retired Secret Service agent Don Mihalik, all of this is not so unusual.
This type of a protective move is usually done with the utmost secrecy. Very few people actually know what happens, and it really goes to the secret in the Secret Service.
The White House saying only that there are many enemies and they use every tool at their disposal to address the threats. And some tough times for this guy. Rod Stewart has canceled the rest of his One Last Time farewell tour. He's had a coronary stent procedure after canceling last minute a couple of shows last week. Now, his spokesperson says he's doing okay, but on the advice of his doctors, he'll take the next 4 weeks to recuperate. Now, we may return to touring after that's over. Market numbers brought to you by Beacon Capital Management, online at beaconcm.com. Well, inflation cooled slightly in July. Even as the pace of consumer price growth from a year ago remains elevated, the Bureau of Labor Statistics said that the Consumer Price Index, which of course is that broad measure of how much everyday goods like gasoline, groceries, and rent costs, increased 0.1% on a monthly basis. It's up 3.4% from a year ago. And apparently that has cheered the markets because right now the Dow futures are plus 133. We've got NASDAQ futures up 281 and the S&P futures are up 34 points. That's the latest news, traffic, and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News. Still closed on Joe B. Jackson Parkway this morning because of a crash in Murfreesboro. So Joe B. Jackson is closed off I-24 to Elam Farms Parkway while they investigate this crash. It was a motorcycle and SUV involved. The cyclist had to be airlifted to a hospital. Drivers are being detoured at Elam Road north up to Manchester Pike. Also on 24 eastbound, if you're trying to get off at Joe B. Jackson eastbound, you're not going to be able to this morning. That off-ramp has been blocked off by this crash. We'll keep an eye on it. It's also apparently got things jammed up this morning on 231 on Shelbyville Highway. That's all jammed up as you're approaching 24 as well. Things are a mess this morning on 28th Avenue North in Hadley Park. That's where you'll find another crash scene just north of Meharry Boulevard. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.807 Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Super Text line is open, very active this morning. Thank you. 615-737-9986. 615-737 WWTN. Joan, how do you know a phone call that is not actually labeled on your phone as potential spam, actually spam? How do you know that?
I don't know.
Because they call me when I'm on the air.
Oh, I see.
Everybody
Yes.
knows, 5 to 9 Central. That's when I'm on the air every single day.
That's usually when my mom calls. And then she'll say, "Oh, I forgot you work mornings."
Do you know my mom used to do the same darn thing? It's like, Mom, every
Love
day,
her.
every day. It's like I sleep at the same time. I'm on the radio every single day at the same time.
But Mim.
Yeah.
What? There's going to be a few hundred people that get that reference. Eric Cartman from South Park.
Oh, good. Hey, Joan. I want to play. Whatever. I'm gonna play this real quick. This is, and by the way, just so Joan, even though you and I may not get the references, people actually apparently love Sam's references to South Park. So I'm gonna allow it, and I'm assuming that some people just don't get carried away and don't get me in trouble. All right, so this is what I just saw on, I think this was on Fox Business.
We've tied the lowest year-over-year print since January, right, which is 2.5% year-over-year. This 0.2 month-over-month is on the core CPI is what I look closely at, because then you can annualize that out. What are we growing on a month-over-month basis? Right in line with expectations. Do not expect a huge market reaction from that. I don't think the Fed futures or we moved slightly 1% more towards no hike in September versus a hike, but very little movement right in line here for inflation.
That sound that you hear is the air being let out of the Democrats' balloon. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Because they every time the inflation numbers come out, they're like, okay, how can we portray these as bad? You know what I mean? But it sounds like, not a huge deal.
Right.
The inflation numbers met expectations, and we're all going to move on for another month.
Yeah. So he said 0.2. Most other analysts are saying 0.1%. The expectation was for 0.2. So it's in line with expectations. It means that prices are still going up. But they were at 3.5%. Now they're at 3.4%. So yeah, they're still going up, and it's going to take us a long time to catch up to that. If we can get prices to slow down, it'll take a long time for the economy to generate more people making better income to be able to afford these things.
Right.
So it'll take a while to catch up.
Do you know what I want to say?
We're in the right direction.
Do you know what I want to say though, Joan? Is that there's been a lot of hand-wringing by a lot of people, including yours truly, on the price of gas. And everybody's right, including me. The price of gas is not where it was when we started the war in Iran. But I will also say this, is that there are a lot of experts, and I'm air quoting experts, there are a lot of experts who thought that we would be paying $5 and $6 a gallon for gas here in Tennessee because of this war, and we're not. Are they where we want gas prices to be? No, they're not. But, by the grace of God, we also still, the gas prices are not nearly as bad as some of these experts were predicting.
Right.
These are the same experts, Joan, that want Donald Trump to fail. They want us to have to pay $5 or $6 a gallon for gasoline, because that would be better for them politically. So there are a lot of people that try to sell out the American people and hope that, number one, we lose the war in Iran, and we, the American people, have to pay out the nose for gas just because they want to see Donald Trump lose. And so I will say it this way, it could be a lot worse, and it could end up getting a lot worse. But right now, my favorite place to get gas, I forget what the price was this morning. What last time you got gas, Joan, what was it? Do you remember?
No, I never look at prices. I'm so
wow,
bad.
It's got to be good to be Joan Jones.
I don't have time to look at prices. I just have to stop where there's a gas station. I stop at the Costco where I know it's cheap. So
I will go to my favorite gas station every time, because, and I've said this before, where I go, and I'm not going to tell you where I go because I want it to be like my little secret, but where I go, it's about 40 cents cheaper than all the other gas stations around.
At least I tell people where to get cheap gas.
Yeah, you do, which is at the box stores, right?
How would she know if she's not checking prices?
Well, they're going to have it. I mean,
Joan.
Yeah.
Sam's not Wong.
But I definitely am
He's
white.
also not white. Oh, he is white.
All right, real quick, moving right along. I want to replay this audio from Hassan Piker. I did play this in the 5 o'clock hour, but I do find this fascinating that there's so many people on the left that are hitching their wagon to Hassan Piker. Now, folks, if you listen to this show, you know that I've been talking about this for a long time. Social media influencer really embedded himself into the Democrat socialist camp. So you've got James Carville, Joe Manchin, a bunch of other folks on the left calling out this guy for making vile statements and his overall acerbic attitude and commentary. So I'm going to play this audio now. I'm going to warn you, parents who have kids in the car, thank you. All the bad words are bleeped out, but here's what you can tell your kids. If you're in line, ready to drop off your youngling in the car, and you don't have to change the station. You don't. You tell your kids that this is how you're not supposed to behave in America.
I don't give a what black people care about. Oh, black people care about this. Black people care about that. Like, shut the up. That's not how politics works. Oh, well, Hassan, how dare you? Like it or not, black people care about this issue. It's like, it's such a stupid stance. Any other black folk want to engage in radical activist language in this chat? Suck my Yes, dude. It's because I'm racist. That's why. It's because I'm racist, dude. Go back to a better time when lynchings were happening. This is what I like as a black man. Are you always doing too much with black people? Leave them alone. I want to go back to lynching. Like, I get it, but relax. Man, shut the up, okay? Okay, you got me, because I'm a racist person.
It's pretty clear that you are a racist person, so at least on that, he's right. Now, a couple of things.
He just doesn't know how to speak without cursing his little head off.
Well, there's a number of things there. Number one, he's factually wrong because he's talking about how politics works and how, people are worrying, I guess, about what black people think. That is absolutely how politics works, you ever-loving, vile moron. Politicians have to care about what black voters think. And by the way, they do care about what black voters think. They care about what all Americans think, at least conservatives do. But that's why the media hyper-focuses on various demographics. You've got gender and race and college-educated versus non-college educated, married, single, suburbs, city dwelling, all of that. That is how politics works. Now, I have no idea. Ted Cruz and others, this was, all over the place yesterday afternoon. I don't know the context of these videos, but the point is that it looks really bad. And the Democrats are out campaigning with this guy over and over and over again. And again, the Democrats, people that have been in the Democrat Party for years, like a Joe Manchin, like a James Carville, they're basically saying, you know what, it's us or it's us or him. And the Democrats, including people like Mamdani, who he's a DSA commie, that's what I'm going to start calling them. Well, they're all for getting into bed with Hassan Piker. I mean, you've got all of the people that are very popular these days in the Democrat Party, from, Abdul Saeed to Mamdani, Bernie Sanders, AOC, Rashida Tlaib, Ro Khanna, and others. They've all campaigned with this guy.
We're going to keep bringing in immigrants in this country on purpose, just so they can f*** your sister, and then maybe even your daughter. We're going to destroy the white race. That's what we're here to do.
So if you're got your kids listening in the car, you explain to them that this is not how you behave in a polite society. You also teach them this is why you need to grow up and be conservative, because, people like this, they're on that other side of the aisle. And if you're listening to WTN right now on my show, I can only assume that you are raising your children the right way. It is 8:17 on Nashville's Morning News. By the way, he also, Hassan Piker, he rails against capitalism, said America deserved the 9/11, calls white people cracker. Did you know that, Sam? That one of the big things that he likes to do is he likes to call white people cracker? I mean, not surprising. It's on brand for him. Hey, we got to do traffic. It's 8:16. Time to check the roads on WTN. All right, very good. At 8:17 for your weather for today, mix of clouds and sun, possible storms, highs of 94. Again, it feel like 105. Joan, just real quick, because I know that's a really bad accident on 24. Can we talk about the backups real quickly? How bad is it? It's an SUV versus a motorcycle.
And it's actually, the accident actually happened on Joe B. Jackson Parkway, but it's closed off that ramp from 24 eastbound onto Joe B. Jackson. Also, you've got big delays behind it on 24 heading westbound. So it looks like those delays start pretty far down. I can't tell what exit that is. Anyway, it's pretty far down on westbound 24 as you're approaching Joe B. Jackson. That's all slow this morning. Also, big delays on 231 Shelbyville Highway. Or Shelbyville Highway. That's all jammed up this morning approaching 24. It could be because of that accident. I really can't tell, but it's very jammed up there as well. And they're saying that what they're doing is telling drivers they're being detoured at Elam Road North up to Manchester Pike in order to get around it.
Okay. Thank you, Joan.
Yep.
I appreciate it. So, yeah, Hassan Piker is, calling white folks crackers.
I prefer the term honky.
Do you prefer the term honky?
Yes, because I also tonk. Honky tonk.
Got it. Very good. Thank you for that, Sam, as always.
Another one that needs explaining.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. So here's the funny thing about Hassan Piker is that, do you know he's out there extolling the virtues of socialism, right? He's a socialist. He wants all the rich people, and I'm air quoting, he wants all the rich people to give away their money. Do you know that Hassan Piker lives in a $4 million a year, a $4 million home in West Hollywood in Los Angeles? $4 million. It's got like 4 or 5 bedrooms and 5.5 baths. He's a single guy with no kids. Now, he can do what he wants, but don't sit here and extol the virtues of socialism and talk about how you're going to, force the white people. He wants to impoverish white America. Yet you are hanging on to your $4 million home in West Hollywood, and you're going to make everybody else give away your money. Somebody actually called give away their money. This is a guy called him out on this. Listen to this.
At what point does your very expensive home stop being a basic human necessity and something that essentially reinforces the very system that you're critiquing?
I don't think the purchases that you make necessarily, if you're buying a private jet, it's a little different, but I don't think the purchases that you make, as long as you're not using it to engage in capital accumulation, imply, something less ethical than whatever purchase you're making in general. I have a house. The reason why it's so expensive is because it's in West Hollywood.
So he wants to make sure that you're not engaged in capitalism, collection, whatever it is that he said. So he's got what does he make, about $2.5–3 million a year on that podcast or whatever it is.
The streaming that
streaming,
he does.
Yeah, on Twitch.
I think he's up to making that much, but he started out with his parents' money.
Yeah, he's worth like millions. His parents are like multimillionaires. So he was able to sit around and collect his parents' money while he built his Twitch. And now he's got his own, many millions of dollars as well, including his $3 million home in West Hollywood. And I think he's clearly he's many things. He's a racist. He is a DSA socialist, but he's also a communist, but he's also a hypocrite. He's also a hypocrite. By the way, Rolling Stone, 3,800 square feet. That's how much it is. 3,800 square feet, 5 bedrooms, 5.5 bathrooms for a dude that lives alone. And again, if that's what he wants to do, that's fine, but don't criticize other people when they accumulate wealth.
Well, and he does this in an interview where he's wearing, I'm relatively sure those are Cartier glasses. They're like $1,500.
Are they really?
Yeah. When he went to Cuba, he was wearing other luxury items with him, and bragging about how great Cuba was under communism, but then complaining about the internet speed in the hotel.
So, did you say that you had Charlie Kirk audio talking about just this?
Charlie Kirk and Hassan Piker on stage a few years ago.
Why don't you give 95% of your money away and go live on a commune?
Do you really think that that's how it works?
Do you really think
Why
that's
not?
how it works?
Go
This is
go
as
live
silly.
what you preach.
Look,
Because every single
this
let me
is
finish.
as
You
silly.
talked uninterrupted for 5 minutes. Hassan, let me
Okay,
finish.
go ahead. Sorry, you're right. You're right.
I live
You're right.
what I practice.
Make
I'm
your
a free market
ridiculous
capitalist.
tweet,
I employ people. I took a risk. I have my own startup business. Every single day, I practice what I preach. He wants other people to contribute to what he considers to be a good idea, what he considers will make the world a better place. That you have the freedom to go live as a socialist. Go do it, Hassan. What's stopping you?
Okay.
I want to hear what his answer to that was. Do we have the answer? Because here's the deal. There is no answer. I mean, Charlie Kirk was absolutely calling him on his hypocritical BS. And with all that, Rolling Stone, we mentioned this a couple of times this morning, Rolling Stone just did this massive piece on Hassan Piker. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to make him look more human. And I don't believe that it's going to work because I believe that Hassan Piker, I think that he's subhuman. I do. But the Democrats, they'll continue to campaign with him because for some crazy reason, they believe that Hassan Piker will ultimately help them, which tells you a lot. It says a lot about right now the Democrat Party.
You want the rest of it because it's pretty funny.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So here's why this is ridiculous. And the last point I will make is this. Here's why that conversation is absolutely preposterous. If I gave away the measly earnings that I had and gave away 95% of that,
how much do you make,
that wouldn't necessarily even push the needle.
Is that what he said?
That's what he said.
It wouldn't push the needle?
Millions of dollars. If I gave away millions of dollars, it wouldn't push the needle. Because his point is that everyone should give up their millions.
And by the way, it turned out after that, I remember this now at the time, that when this came out and he said, you know, my measly whatever he makes, he was, of course, lying because he and his parents are both millionaires. So he's just a liar, and that's what he does. But, you know, you would think that if he wanted to be a thought leader, right, then he would do what, you know, somebody like Elon Musk has done. Because remember when we had the floods? Remember when we had the floods here in Middle Tennessee and also, was it North Carolina? In East Tennessee, North Carolina, we had those floods. And if I remember right, you had Elon Musk. He had all these. He brought over generators. Did he bring over generators? And he brought over his. I forget what you call him now, but the internet. Starlink. He brought the Starlink servers as well. That's what Elon Musk did.
Yeah, they coordinated with local officials, volunteers, and figures like Dr. Phil to deliver Starlink kits directly to isolated communities and like local politics and first responder support. So
that's
now
what
the first
Elon Musk
responders
did.
know where the people were so they could do their rescue trips and all that stuff. So they had, because out there, you're kind of in the boonies in some of those areas and there's no connection.
Yeah. So if Hassan Piker wants to be a thought leader, and he considers himself a thought leader, and clearly he does, well then, dude, practice what you preach, give away, 95% of your money, sell your home, give that away as well, or invite a bunch of, illegal aliens to, because he believes in open borders, invite a bunch of illegal aliens to come use your 5.5 bathrooms and your 5 bedrooms. Why don't you do that? Elon Musk does. I don't know if he considers himself a conservative or not, but whatever.
He
but
lives
other
in
people,
a very modest home in comparison.
Elon does?
Yes. It's like a self-sustaining thing. I want to say it's smaller square footage and everything, too. Like he lives very modestly at home.
Yeah.
To a degree.
All right, 8:26. Joan's got the news coming up at 8:30. Joan.
Yeah, coming up here at 8:30, Dan, we've got the news for you. And in the news, ICE stakes out of Robertson County town for a new call center. It's coming up at 8:30. Oh, we'll also take a look at the markets, which are going to open after that news about the economy this morning. It's all coming up at 8:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I was just so unhappy with myself. I made myself sick to look at me, to be honest with you, but that's why I came. I wanted to see some results.
That is Gary, and he was at the end of his rope and desperate to find a way to lose the belly fat in his midsection that had been plaguing him for years. And he found the results that he'd been looking for at Contours in Cool Springs.
This was the motivation I needed to helped me get through that, along with the treatments that have been fantastic and the results I've been super pleased with.
Contours Red Light Technology did work for Gary. How about you? Find them online, contoursllc.com. They've got a special going on right now. First 10 callers do get that Belly Buster special for just $99. That's right, $99 gets you that Belly Buster special. You lose 2 inches off the middle, or it's free. Call them. First 10 callers right now. 615-236-9960. 615-236-9960. Find them online, contoursllc.com. Tell them Dan told you to reach out, contoursllc.com.
Good morning. It's 8:32. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories, and the freak out continues over President Trump switching planes when he flew home from Turkey last month. Democrat lawmakers are now demanding what they call transparency.
The president reportedly hiding inside a catering truck to depart on a military jet instead of Air Force One. ABC News has learned Secretary of State Marco Rubio and Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent stayed on board Air Force One, but knew Trump had switched planes. The aides and reporters around them did not. Democrats want answers and are now demanding a congressional briefing.
ABC's Karen Waugh there. The Wall Street Journal reports it was the first time in Trump's presidency that such a decoy effort had been used. In North Carolina, police have arrested a man in the beating of a DoorDash driver. Kristen Phillips says she was making deliveries one night last week when a Range Rover stopped in front of her and then didn't move, so she honked. The driver looped around, followed her to her next stop, and he jumped out of his car and beat her with a baseball bat.
When the guy hit me in the head and I was knocked out, I believe he thought I was dead and he left me for dead. And it's a miracle that I woke up.
She has undergone brain surgery. 34-year-old Stanley Shockley appeared in court yesterday. He's being held without bond. The Department of Homeland Security awarding a $63 million contract to create a national immigration enforcement call center in Robertson County. The Tennessee Lookout reports the planned call center will be around-the-clock support for police and sheriff's deputies around the country that have entered into cooperative agreements with ICE. It'll also help to locate unaccompanied migrant children. Market numbers brought to you by Beacon Capital Management, online at beaconcm.com. And stocks are starting off this morning on the positive side after a tame inflation report that came out earlier this morning. Right now, the Dow Jones Industrial is trading at 36 points higher. The Nasdaq adding 162, with the S&P is up 25. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Thank you, Joan. 8:34, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7. Dan Mandis here. I've been a client of Dr. Kevin Mitchell for about 12 years, and he is awesome. So is my bad back these days. Thanks to the Wellness Institute of Nashville. He changed my life, and he can change yours as well. They've been changing lives for 20 years with innovation and technology. Now, this year marks Dr. Kevin Mitchell his big 20th year with Pioneer Days and Technology Ways. Now, to celebrate in style, Dr. Mitchell is offering you the Big 20. That's going to give you 50% off non-surgical spinal decompression. Discover why patients across Tennessee trust Dr. Mitchell and Dr. Ashley for answers and relief. So, friends, if you've been suffering from sciatica, neuropathy, spinal stenosis, bulging discs, neck pain, back pain, tingling, and weakness in your arms or legs, they can help you. Call them 615-246-5009, 615-246-5009. You can always find them online, painisbad.com. Tell them Dan Mandis told you to reach out. Dr. Mitch and Dr. Ashley at the Wellness Institute of Nashville have my seal of approval. $8:36 on Super Talk 99.7. Dan Mandis here for Mark Spain Real Estate. Listen, friends, if you are stuck in a home that you can't sell, call Mark Spain Real Estate. If your open houses are being ignored, call Mark Spain. If you're tired of making costly repairs while your home goes unsold, call Mark Spain. Now, their guaranteed offer is going to keep you in control. You're going to get out of your home fast and with maximum profit. Mark Spain Real Estate has over 72,000 clients and is the #1 most reviewed real estate company in America. 13,000 five-star reviews cannot be wrong. Mark Spain Real Estate is the company that I recommend for selling your home. So call them right now. Tell them Dan told you to reach out and get out of your home fast and move on to the next chapter in your life. Mark Spain Real Estate. Guaranteed offer. 855-299-SOLD. 855-299-SOLD. Go to markspain.com to get that guaranteed offer on your home today and start packing.
Okay, so it's still closed off this morning on Joby Jackson Parkway from I-24 through Elam Farms Parkway. There was a motorcycle and SUV crash there. The motorcyclist has been airlifted. They're doing the investigation right now, and they say that this may open up by 9 o'clock, so maybe another 20 minutes that they'll have this closed down. But also, if you're traveling 24 north and you try to get off at Joby Jackson East, you're not going to be able to do that. That ramp has been closed off as well. Now, it's got some traffic backed up on Shelbyville Highway. It's also got traffic backed up on 24 westbound side approaching Joby Jackson. So take your time this morning as you're traveling that area. At East Nashville, Ellington Parkway, northbound at Cleveland Street. Watch for a crash in that spot. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Hey, Joan?
I like it.
Can we go out to the parking lot and you just roll my RAV4 over my head so that I don't have to listen to this anymore? What exactly
It's a little
is
extreme?
Is it though?
Will you crack my head like a melon with a
Could you
vehicle?
please? Because that's the only way that I'm going to get this out of my head. Well, what exactly is a Soulja Boy?
He's a member of the hip hop community known to crank that, Dan.
Okay. So, Joan, when we go to the parking lot, I'll just hand you my keys and then just, if you could clean off the tire and give the keys to my wife. All right, very good.
There's not a weekend at the baseball stadium where I don't hear some kid with that as his walk-up song.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And what is it?
Soulja Boy, crank that.
Oh, right. Okay.
You
As
crank
if I'd know that.
You crank that.
I thought Joan would know.
Really?
I had little faith that Dan would.
And your faith is restored. Not that you ever lost it, but anyway, your faith in me not knowing anything about that kind of stuff. And I'm proud to not know what that was. Is that a band, Soulja Boy?
It's just a dude.
Okay, good. What do you got? You have a story out of Canada.
And I think we're gonna have some serious debate over this.
So do you know what's great, by the way? So somebody asked me at our last event, do you and Chris and Joe, do you guys know what you're going to talk about when you crack the mic at 8:35? This is literally the show prep for this segment between Chris and I. Chris comes in and he says, I got this thing out of Canada. Okay. That's it. So just like Jones World at 5:35.
To be fair, I said I got two stories, Canada or Australia. And Dan said, screw those Aussies. We're going with poutine.
It's exactly right. Does this song have anything? Does this have anything to do with like Bryan Adams or Tom Cochrane? Some of the great Canadian musicians.
Tom Cochrane.
Yeah, Red Ryder, whatever.
Never heard of him.
Do you know who's not from Canada? The Soulja Boy guy.
No.
Because only good music comes out of Canada. Anyway, go ahead.
And Bret Hart. The cancellation of a flight in Canada after a child refused to wear a seatbelt has reignited a debate about the etiquette and safety procedures relating to children on planes. All right, so there was a toddler on a 10:30 flight out of Victoria going to Toronto. This is on August 6th.
Mm-hmm.
The toddler's having a meltdown. It's a 10:30 flight. Won't put on the seatbelt. They delayed the flight so that they could not depart before the runway closed because the toddler wouldn't buckle up. So this is as the plane is taxiing out. So then they go back to the airport and they remove the parent and the toddler because the toddler wouldn't buckle up. Then they realize that it's past midnight. So everyone on the plane has to get off. And nobody gets to fly out that evening.
Did they have to put them up in hotels?
It didn't say that. But they said that attempts by the accompanying parent and crew to address this were unsuccessful. The aircraft could not take off in this unsafe condition.
Do we know how old the toddler was?
I believe the child was 2 or 3.
Why are you unable to just put the seatbelt on the kid?
So,
like, why can't you do that?
Well, there's a couple things there. Like, yeah, for starters, you could do that. But also, like, the flight attendant, can't you just look the other way?
And just take off.
Just take off.
Let mama hold him.
Okay. What if there is turbulence and that kid goes flying up and ends up hitting his head, falling out of his seat? Then there's going to be a lawsuit.
I don't know. I think that would chalk it up to FAFO. Plus, you probably sign your rights away when you get on that plane.
I don't know if you do.
I would imagine you do.
So your team.
I'm team.
You're team undisciplined toddler.
No, I'm team.
That is exactly what you're doing.
I'm team. I have flown all day long with a toddler before, and at the last flight of the day, when the kid is melting down because he's been exhausted from being stuck at an airport all day, look the other way. I'm team. Look the other way.
That is a breaking FAA regulations. They could get in trouble. They could get sued. The small child could get hurt.
You know, I didn't think that you would know Soldier Boy, and I also figured you would be an FAA regulation Nazi. So,
all right, you know what? You wanted. Wait, hold on, Joan. Who do you side with, me or Chris?
I side with Chris on this one.
Of course you do.
How about,
thank you, Joan.
Come on, it's being a parent 101. Like, you just got to do what you got to do to get by.
Minute. Being a parent 101 is allowing your child to get away with something like not allowing a seatbelt to be put on you.
3.5 hours past this kid's bedtime, and he's melting down. Like, I would grab the kid and hold him.
Oof.
Sam, who do you?
I'm
side
on your
with?
side.
Okay, so we got to do a Daily Dan poll very quickly. It is 8:45. Basically, you got to say who's right, and people are going to have to know who's right, Dan, Sam, or Joan, Chris. And I'm going to tell you, Chris, Joan has been wrong all day long.
I've heard. The BBC continues. Some have said it was an example of what happens when parents are too gentle on their children. And just let the record show, pro spanking over here, it gets a lot of things done very, very quickly. Still would have looked the other way. That's just me. Other people have pointed out that sometimes children are afraid of flying and not trying to be disruptive. One passenger on the Porter's airline plane said the child had not been unruly, but had seemed scared. They just kept hiding under their seat. If they got forced into it, strapped in, they just kind of slid out underneath.
Oh, Dan, stop being so rigid.
That was about the Soldier Boy song.
I agree with you 100%, Dan.
Matt Murphy has weighed in on this.
Oh, has he? What did he say?
How about get a handle of your child or get off the plane?
Yep.
Well, let's just say, Mr. Murphy, not all of our kids are furry with 4 legs and can be stowed underneath the plane.
Key rules from Porter's official policy: infants under 2 occupying their own seat. The use of an approved child safety seat or restraint device is mandatory. A separate paid seat must be purchased. Smaller or older children, the use of restraint is optional.
Apparently this was part of the nincompoops in the news yesterday.
Oh.
Chris and Joan are wrong, says Robert. Dan is right, says 9925. Dan is right. If they had to slam the brakes on that plane, the kid hits his head, they would sue the airline.
According to a passenger who filmed the incident, the child had settled down from a tantrum, had been quietly seated in her seat for more than 5 minutes before the airline's crew informed the father that they would be removed from the flight. I would have lost my mind.
Yeah.
I would have lost my mind because how long was the flight delayed before they finally figured out that we're going to have to get these people off?
30 minutes or so, at least.
I would lose my ever-loving mind. See, I would be the guy that would go viral for yelling at a little kid and the mother. It's like, lady, get your damn kid off the plane. I want to take off. I've been flying all day too. And you know what? I want to start crying and yelling.
I'm sure people would have preferred the screaming, restrained child with the flight in the air as opposed to having it canceled.
Exactly. Thank you. Sam's on our side now.
I said restrained.
Restrained.
I said crying and restrained child.
Yeah, crying. Yeah, put the belt on him. Put the belt on him.
I would have grabbed the kid and just sat the kid
Hey,
in my
Chris,
lap.
can I ask you a question? So
Goes against policy.
when you are driving with your children and they don't want to put on the seatbelt, do you allow them to drive without a seatbelt just because they don't want to put it on?
No, Dan, but I'm not inconveniencing a flight of people trying to get home.
See, they should have taken action a long time before. Why did they let it go on for so long? Just kick them off. Help them arrange a new flight. But then you're not inconveniencing everybody else.
Joan, I think those parents have to pay for everybody's inconvenience. That's what I think.
Well, I think the flight crew has something to do with this.
Dan wants to take it a step further. Fine the parents.
Yeah.
You know what? Wait till that kid turns 18 and fine him too. This has me all riled up. It looks like a lot of people, though.
I mean, the big question is, why didn't they just kick the family off?
They did, but they
took too
waited
long.
too long, and then it was past midnight, so everybody had to get off the plane.
So,
but my thing is, like, even the flight attendants got inconvenienced by this. So, like, if you're a flight attendant, you want to get to your destination too. Why wouldn't you just look the other way?
Yeah, that's your way home.
I would have looked the other way. I would have had compassion for the parents. That's just me.
Okay. And then when the child ends up getting injured.
Well, I mean, you don't know what the kid's going through. The kid could have been severely autistic, and you can't see that.
Yeah.
Really? You're going to throw that? Okay. You two are losing the argument. Now you play the autism card? Are you kidding me? Really? Nice try.
I'm not playing any cards. I'm just talking. This is life in 2026.
So
Dan.
where did this happen?
Canada, of course.
Toronto, I believe.
No,
yeah, it's a little different up there. I think the air's a little too, it's a little too thin up there.
To be fair, they do have an entire program dedicated to euthanasia of healthy adults and children.
Yeah, honestly.
Now you're throwing out euthanasia. So
I was just saying how wacky Canada is, but I agree with you. Like, it just my experience as a child that flew on planes with younger siblings, it was cry all you want, you're getting strapped in.
Sharon says, "Shut up, Dan." Thanks, Sharon.
The audience is split on this. I haven't seen the audience more divided since we talked about Israel and Iran.
Shut up. Hang on. 9244 says Joan and Chris are idiots. We're idiots, Chris.
1349 says, so Dan is pro-Canadian?
To an extent.
Always has been.
I'm pro
4460 said the kid probably just had its hepatitis B shot.
Brats on planes. Let's go to the phones. Yeah. Let's see. Dan, if you yelled at me and my kid, I would punch you in the face.
We're talking about the parent yelling at their own kid.
The parent needs to, I mean, listen, you got bad. Okay, so.
We live in a beautiful era of wireless headphones and noise canceling technology.
Yeah, that's the thing. Well, you know what?
Get a hold of your offspring.
Here's what you need to do. You need to just give the kids some like Tylenol or whatever it is to melatonin.
Some Benadryl.
But the Benadryl, that's what you do. You put the kid to sleep.
Everybody's suggesting that. Drug the kids. Drug the kids, they say.
0679 says, I have to agree, you're both idiots. Okay. Spank the kid, strap him in, and take off.
Exactly.
Right, what is it?
5372.
What's the Daily Dan poll? So what are people saying?
Dan and Sam with 69% of the vote. Nice.
I claim shenanigans.
That leaves... You're not going to buy the vote, are you? Well, you know, those people didn't have ID, so we don't really, we can't verify.
I'm challenging the results of that poll.
Really?
I am. I think you got it wrong.
Okay, so here's the big question, though. If the kids were autistic, does it change the dynamic?
And how do you know? Are you allowed to ask that question?
I don't know.
So you have to you have to approach the situation as there's a touch of the tism.
No, you don't.
You would have to.
You don't assume that all ill-behaved children are autistic. What is wrong with you?
I think in 2026 you do a little bit.
Sam is ill-behaved. He's not autistic.
I grew out of it.
Oh man. Whatever.
I used to threaten my brother at throat point to stop chewing gum in my ear. So.
That's all your brother did?
You're just violent. That's not autistic.
You know what my brother would do?
I couldn't handle the noises. It was overstimulus of noise.
Here's the thing. Everybody's like, so Sally texted, you take your hand, you spank the toddler's butt, And you give him a toy or bottle or whatever he wants, and then you put him in there, and then you buckle the seatbelt.
And then you give him bananas.
Yeah, that
so
works.
imagine what happens on a flight in Canada if all of a sudden a parent starts spanking a toddler.
Oh, gosh.
They would have been removed from the flight anyway.
They would have. Listen, just so we're clear, I don't blame the toddler. I blame the parents. I do, because the parents, half hour of delaying the flight, really? And I blame the airline. The airline should have taken them off.
Being the dad who's had the unruly toddler on the late flight because you're flying all over the country all day long, I have a lot of compassion for that.
I have a lot of compassion for the people whose lives were delayed and flights were delayed.
And that's why we blame the flight attendant.
Okay, so do you and I agree that they should have taken these people off of the plane immediately?
I would have took off. Let's roll.
Okay. You can be wrong. Sally says if the kid was autistic, no, it does not change.
Hit him anyway. That's Sally's suggestion.
I told you this would happen if you weren't strapped in. Now he's floating around the plane.
Is that your plane ambiance?
I don't know what that was.
Someone has it on here.
It sounded like a tornado warning.
No, it's the inside of an airplane cabin.
So what did you say your brother would do?
It just would intentionally make noise right up in my ear.
So
overstimulate my brain.
Did you have older brothers, Chris?
No.
So you know what my older brother would do to me sometimes? I'd be sleeping. He'd come into my room and fart in my face. What? Yep. And my mom used to wonder, I don't know why your brother and you aren't closer. It's like, gee, I wonder, Mommy farted in my face when I was a kid.
Technically, you're really close because he's farting in your face. It's transferable matter there.
I didn't find it funny. I don't find it. I find it kind of funny now.
There's a show called Wildcrats on PBS from back in the day, and it's this cartoon, and they would get creature powers.
Mm-hmm.
And Brooks went through a phase where he would walk up to Bishop and he would say, "Creature powers, skunk." And he would just let it rip. I'm like, you can't do that to him.
4809. Or, I'm sorry, 1816. A roll of duct tape works wonders.
There you go. All right, we got to go. Joan's got the news at 9. Joan.
Yeah, coming up here at 9 o'clock, we'll tell you what a Bridgestone employee just did that could land him in prison for 20 years. It's in the news at 9 at Super Talk 99.7 WTN.